All right, guys, we are just moments away from Donald Trump and Elon Musk live on X interview today. It starts in about, what is it, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So far, there's 123,000 people that have joined the space. So far, there's a lot of people, obviously, that we follow too. Unfortunately, it's not letting us grab the screen, but we can listen to the audio, which is exactly the same because you're not going to be able to see Donald Trump's face other than his profile picture. So that's basically all you're going to be looking at. Elon Musk and Donald Trump are both up there. Tammy hates it when we say spaces there. And I tell you, but there's a lot of people in there that we follow, a lot of people that we know. It's packed, and it's just getting bigger by the minute. You can't even request a microphone in there. That's how bad it is. So far, they got 13,000 comments, and it hasn't even started yet. It starts in literally like 40 seconds. So we're not going to talk. We're not going to say anything, but we want to thank you all so much for being here. You guys are great, and this is just awesome. We can't wait. We are absolutely 100% huge fans and supporters of Donald Trump, and this is just like it's been a beautiful day, and there's so many people that are sharing our excitement, including you guys, and I can't wait. I cannot wait. You guys are just absolutely incredible. We love you guys, and we'll see you back here in just a little bit. Stay tuned. 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. This is great. Can you guys please do us a huge favor and share this out? This is a live interview with Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and so far there's 122,000 people in there. 120. It's going to break the internet. And I mean, this is huge. Kamala Harris right now is planning on probably doing her own space. It would probably only get about maybe 10 people in there. This is a huge day for the internet. This is a huge day for anybody that's a Trump supporter. This is a huge, huge day for all of us who have been fighting. All of you guys here in our community, all of everybody that's here. This is a huge, huge day. Huge day. And we just couldn't be any more thankful to be a part of this and to be witnessing this firsthand with all of you guys here in our YouTube community. You guys are just absolutely amazing. For those of you that are wondering what this elevated music is, this is X. This is Twitter. This is what happens when you start a space. It's this music. I'm like literally, I'm freaking out right now. All the United Spot listen. Hey, we're all listening right now. It's insane. Unfortunately, we're not together, but we wouldn't be able to talk all together anyway because we're a bunch of assholes. It's going to start here and just literally it's supposed to start by 5 o'clock. It should be starting here any second now. Any second now it should be starting. What an incredible day for this. Seriously, what an incredible day for this. We are absolutely, just absolutely. I mean, you have to understand, for a lot of people out there who have been fighting and supporting, like all of us here in this particular community, to have this particular day come to a head, knowing that we are just so close to the finish line. This is just an absolute celebration. Seriously, a celebration. We got 120,000 people right now so far have joined. Hey, it's President Trump. He can be casually late if he wants to be. All right, seriously, he's waiting for the crowd here. Any second now he'll be up there. Hey, we love you guys. Seriously, all your great comments. You guys are just, hey, seriously, you guys are great. I can't believe all the amazing people out there today. And we're not even here just to support the United Spot. We're here mainly to support Donald Trump. And this is what this has all been about. Obviously, we complain and we do all this thing or whatever, song and dance for our videos because we're trying to support Donald Trump. But this is the main reason we do this for President Trump. This is it. This is the finish line. This is what we're doing. We cannot wait, seriously. And there's a possibility we'll be able to ask a question. So who knows? We're not guaranteeing anything like that, but you could be witnessing the United Spot on stage talking to President Donald Trump. That would be a dream come true. I feel like doing jumping jacks or like push-ups here. This is like I'm going to my first like concert or something like that, and I'm just about to meet my my favorite band or something. And I got to be honest with you. I'm gonna talk to you guys for just a second here before they start it. You got to be really careful about who you talk to online, right? So we got approached by this. It's a parody account for Elon Musk, right? And they said uh, we're gonna help you out with your account. And I said, hey, don't don't you have like a little proof that you work for Twitter? They said that they were like Elon Musk's right hand man, right? So they said you can call me Jane or something. And so I said, can you prove to us that you work for Twitter? And she said, yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get a video message from Elon Musk himself saying that everything's okay, right? So I said, okay. So I called the rest of the crew. I said, don't touch the messages until I'm done, right? Because we all have access to all our different accounts, right? And so we they send us a message, right? It's called Elon Musk parody, right? And so we go up into this area, got a video. It said, go ahead and click the video, and then after you're done, go ahead and send us all your information so we can help you out with your appeal, and all this and blah blah blah, whatever. So so we we can't get anything off a video, an actual video, a link. We don't touch no links. So we played a video, and it's an AI version of Elon Musk saying that trust the person that just sent us the message. So we text them back and we said, haha, thank you very much for the fun time. But we thought, blah, 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 whatever. I said, hopefully you have a great day. Their response was, what do you mean? You think the video from Elon Musk is fake or what? Now, they have to understand that we're a meme account. We do this kind of stuff for a living, right? And it was a poorly generated CGI, AI, whatever you want to call it. I could not believe they thought that was going to pass. Anyways, don't trust anything you get in your DMs. Don't trust anything that you get in your messenger. Don't trust any of that stuff, because what will happen, and I've told this to a lot of people who have Facebook accounts, a lot of people will get like a message from Facebook saying, hey, click this link. You're in violation of this and this and this. Go ahead and use this link right now and log back into your account. As soon as you log back in with your username and your password, your account's gone. You're gone. It's gone. You'll never get it back, because that wasn't Facebook. That was a hacker. So the first thing I suggest to you is that Facebook would never ask you to log into your account. They would never ask you for a password or anything like that. And so if you ever get a message like that in your Facebook account or your YouTube or anything like that, always go to the source, because they will never, no company on social media will ever reach out to you and tell you to share your personal information. Boy, they're really late here. 10 minutes over. I could have went and made a top ramen sandwich. We're up to 190,000 people right now. 190,000. I don't even know if they could probably press the play button. I don't think so. I don't know if anybody watched our latest video we just did. I'm going to tell you something right there. We knocked it out of the park. It has to do with everything that we're dealing with right now. We're looking at 197,000 people right now. That's incredible. I wish I could click on this thing here, but it's not allowing. All you would see, honestly, is the people that are up there. That's it. That's all. That's all you would see. Harley Davidson has to file bankruptcy after Sturgis from woke. Really? Are you seriously about that BNR racing? Is that a real thing here? Gene, how you doing? Hey, we're going to be doing the dad jokes here real soon. We've been so busy with everything else here, I tell you. This is absolutely not embarrassing for Elon. This is called fashionably late. 208,000 people so far. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. I don't know why everything is clickbait. Hey, absolutely. This is absolutely not embarrassing at all. This is cold. They probably they're not ready for this kind of thing here. They have never had to come at. They've never had a space this big before. This is the biggest space they've ever had. Yes, it's very real. Oh, hang on here. Sorry about that. Yes, it's very real after Harley Davidson. Yeah, you know what? I heard that the CEO is a weirdo. Well, maybe we won't get a collection guy to come to our door anymore. Yeah, imagine being a Janny Clips. I truly believe that they may not be able to do this. This is a huge. I believe they probably can if they get but you know what? As soon as Elon is able to have aluminum foil in the microwave, I'll stop believing anything's possible. I think maybe we just need to start doing Indian, huh? So you think it's delayed? Haven't started yet? No, D, it hasn't started yet. No. If it was started right now, then obviously we'd be listening to President Trump instead of my annoying voice. I can't wait to hear this though. Hey, I tell you, a new video. Holy cow! Harley Davidson at HD only means high dollar. Yeah, they very expensive, very expensive. A lot of HD went on lawns for sale around here. Nice, Skippy top buckle. Yeah, hey, when they start acting like Bud Light, you might want to rethink what you're doing there. You don't put somebody like that in charge of a major company. You're the face of the entire thing here. You got to have somebody that's neutral to everything. You can't be dancing around in your underwear, spraying pixie dust and expect to fire bikes here. Have you seen the people that ride on these Harleys? With the leather vests on, their big muscles, their tattoos. I don't see anybody sporting any kind of weird flags other than like Trump flags, American flags, veteran flags, police flags. Well, I don't know. Sometimes not police flags because depending on what state you live in. I wish splitting lanes was legal over here where I am here, because I tell you, when I've traveled, other states that allow you to do the splitting the lanes and whatnot, so you don't have to get there caught up in traffic and whatnot. They don't allow it to where I'm from. It's against the law. I'm gonna have to try and sell the motorcycle. I'm gonna have to give it back to them. Man, they keep knocking on my door trying to take it back. You can't come in. You shall not pass. No way for you, huh? All right, so we're 15 minutes out. That's fine. Hey, you guys hear everything all right? Joe, the interview is on Twitter, X. It's called a space on Twitter. It's a new technology, kind of like when we were younger. We'd have like the telephone where we'd have like 40 people in a telephone conversation. Now they have it in what is called spaces on X that used to be Twitter. And you get like hundreds and thousands of people into these spaces, and you listen to the speakers, and then you're able to talk and share your feelings on, you're going to change the world. And people talk about it, they argue with you, or they applaud you. It's a whole entire thing. All right, show of hands. Show of hands out there. Oh, go ahead and give me a thumbs up if any of you out there have ever heard of the Dilly meme team, Brennan Dilly. Give me a thumbs up. No comment? Nope. Tammy, is that a yes? Gene, is that a yes? Anybody heard of Brendan Dilly from the Dilly meme team. Babsy Ice Queen, yes. Frank Smith, no. Tammy, yes. Gene, no. All right. Funky Electrons. Dilly Bars saved my life. Absolutely. So, for those of you that don't know, you got to check them out here. It's called the Dilly Meme Team. You can check them out on X. They're everywhere. Huge supporters of Donald Trump. They got a radio show, all kinds of crazy stuff here. But he did a shout out, Brendan, who's the main guy. He did a shout out for the United Spot, and the way he did it was just absolutely priceless. He said he was playing a clip from Nancy Pelosi, and he said, "Listen," he's I don't know if it was Nancy Pelosi pretending to be the United Spot, or the United Spot pretending to be Nancy Pelosi, and the way he did it was just absolutely hilarious. Actually, I'm gonna play it for you real quick. I'm gonna see if I got it here. Hang on. There it is. So life is gonna come the fuck again. It gave me so much party. He helped out on it, but I don't like it. Okay, hang on here. Let me play real quick. Hang on here. Hey, you know this thing could have crashed. It's got 200,000 people in here right now. Oops, something went wrong. X might be down. Seriously, that's how bad it is. This is crazy. So Elon Musk just texted, there appears to be a massive DDoS attack on X, working on shutting it down. Worst case, we will proceed with a smaller number of live listeners and post the conversation later. That could be possibly what is happening here. Well, we might miss out on this. But you'll still be able to watch the United Spot videos. That's the only thing that matters, right? Nah, come on. Stop it. There's a huge problem going on X right now. Holy cow. Holy cow. It's crazy. All right, so we're going to play a video here. Hang on. We're going to play a video here while we watch. Because there is nothing more important in life than a United Spot video. And that's, without saying. All right, so what are we doing here? All right, we're going to play a new video. Let's see how many views we got here. All right. We're all falling apart over here. All right, look at us here. Look at what we're doing. We're doing big things. We're doing big things. All right, so until we work on this here, we're gonna play. Oh, look at that! It's only got 1,000 views. It's only got 1,000 views. So if you guys want to go over there real quick and check it out, it's the Trump back on Twitter released the meltdowns. It's perfect. It's perfect. All right, we're gonna play that for you guys real quick, and we'll be back after these messages.
You got it, buddy? I think so. It's been a while. Can you hear me? Yep, I can hear you. Are we live? Yep, we're live. Breaking news! Donald Trump is going live on X Spaces! Trump is hosting a space on X? No! What's wrong? Does my fish tank smell? Trump is hosting a space on X. I'm calling the police! Trump on X? That's it. I'm going to Grinder. I'm launching a full taxpayer investigation on Trump's return to X. I'm moving to Canada. Please donate to my GoFundMe account. Here goes my campaign. Hey! I'm indicting Donald Trump for returning to X. Yes, I'd like to report a crime. Donald Trump is hosting a space on X. I almost died. That's it. I'm reporting this to the FBI. No, Trump on X. I'm going to Epstein Island. Oh, Trump on X? Somebody throw me a hot dog. No! I ain't paying child support until Trump is kicked off Twitter. I ain't gonna post my pregnancy pictures until Trump's account is suspended. Oh my God! I'm single with no kids. How can this be happening? I'm going on a hunger strike and moving to Canada. No! All right, Reagan's back. Well, who's ever posted on my Twitter account is gonna have fun with this. So there I was, riding my bicycle, when all of a sudden, Donald Trump hurt me with his tweets, and I can't stop crying.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Hope everybody enjoyed that. All right, we're gonna go back to the main guy here. I'm not sure exactly what's gonna happen. I'm gonna check in here real quick and see, but it don't look good. It don't look good. All right, so it looks like his alternate account said free speech is under threat. A massive DDoS attack is currently targeting X, aiming to disrupt the Donald Trump and Elon Musk interview. United Spot. I was on X 15 minutes before the space interview, and no one is able to join. I don't want to speculate, but could be over. Yeah, we're on it right now. We even got a mic request, so we're actually in the space right now. We're at the top. See if I can share a video here. Hold on. Yeah, we got a few connections, but I tell you, they're doing anything they possibly can. It's crazy how they do that, huh? We will proceed with a smaller number of concurrent listeners, and then oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. That's not fun. So we're not gonna do. That's not good. Well, hey, at least we got a pretty cool. We got a pretty cool little thing over here. Can't. Hey, we can't argue with that. We can't argue with that at all. We got a little prize memorabilia over here. Not gonna lie, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Well, I think what we're gonna do now is, I guess, just go back to the videos if you guys don't mind. I apologize. Let me do a few things here because now I gotta reprogram everything that we were gonna do here. I apologize. And hang on here real quick. Well, that's a shame, eh? I apologize to you guys. I know we're not supposed to necessarily apologize, but you know what? In this case, we do because we thought we were gonna bring you something fun, and unfortunately, now you gotta watch our stupid videos. So, well, it is what it is, I guess. We can't control the weather, and we sure as hell can't control technology. But what we can do is try to make you laugh, and that's all we can do. That's all we can do is try and make you laugh. That's all we're gonna be able to do. All right, so let's see what we're gonna do here with this. Hang on for just a. Oh, nope, nope. We can't play this. Apologize here. Nope, we can't do that. Nope, nope, nope. All right, let's do this. Let's hang on here. I tell you, it makes you do so many crazy things just to get the freaking thing over here. Oh, I'm still in there. I'm still in the space here. But unfortunately, it's just not letting us do anything. So, but we're gonna stand by. So let's watch a few videos until we're able to figure this out here, and we'll be back. All right, we love you guys, and we thank you so much for hanging in there. Please don't leave. Please like and share, and leave us a comment to let us know you were there. All right, we love you guys. We're gonna be working on something here, so please talk amongst yourselves. And we truly appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being here. You guys are wonderful, and we love you and appreciate you all so much. Talk to you here in a few.
Nancy Pelosi. Wow, thank you, thank you. There's so many peasants out there. I want to thank for making me and my hammer boy filthy rich. Let's keep it up, guys. And the winner for most trips to Epstein Island, my husband and Monica's boyfriend, the man in the blue dress, Bill Clinton. Oh man, so many victims. I mean, so many people I want to thank. My wife for keeping me out of prison, and Monica for keeping me warm at night. Jeffrey, this one's for you, buddy. We did it. And the winner for this year's Mentally Unfit to Stand trial, a man who can't walk upstairs and refuses to take a cognitive test, my best friend, Joe Biden. Oh man, so many undocumented people I want to thank, but I couldn't do this without a teleprompter, earpiece, and all the people who tell me what to do every single day. This next award is sponsored by hot dogs and pasta. And the winner for most lies ever told in the Senate, the Standard Hotel's favorite guest, my man, Adam Schiff.
I want to thank the Kremlin, Russia, collusion, and all the whistleblowers out there. This is all Trump's fault.
And the Above the Law award goes to a guy that's higher than gas prices, Hunter Biden. Oh man, so many people I want to thank. First of all, I want to thank the big guy for keeping me out of prison, and Ukraine for paying me lots of money, and my laptop, of course. And last but not least, all those smoking hot hookers. Hey, Dad, I'm out of tinfoil. And the winner for Best Dressed First Lady goes to... And the winner for Best Dressed First Lady goes to Mrs. 81 million votes, Dr. Alice Biden Cooper. You know, 30 years ago, I was a babysitter for my husband's son. But now, I'm the best dressed First Lady in the world. Follow your dreams, people. And the award for Nothing Built, Nothing Back, and Nothing Better, and Money Launderer of the Year goes to my buddy, Mr. 81 million votes, President Joe Biden. Oh man, I just want to say that pickles are great. I mean, it's just like a microwave in the lawnmower of emotions. And the winner with over 33,000 deleted emails, the Tax Innovation Award goes to Hillary Clinton! Wow! So many people I want to thank. But first and foremost, I want to thank Benghazi, Seth, Victor, Jeffrey, Vince, Mary, John Jr. I don't want to leave anyone out there, so there's just so many. And the winner for the hottest wife in politics, Chuck Schumer! Well, first off, I'd like to thank my smoking hot wife for inciting erections all over the country. And the winner for the smartest woman in Congress, a girl that everybody wants to date, but she's engaged to a ginger. Bartender scientist, AOC! Oh my gosh, I almost died coming up here. having the most classified documents in history and getting away with it. Mr. 81 million votes himself, Joe Biden! See here, Squirrel, I just...
All right, guys, so we're back. It's coming on here. We're coming on here real quick. They fixed the bug, and they got it taken care of. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to go over there right now. All right, here. All right. There we go. We're back. Now we just got to wait a few minutes and we're going to be golden. Just got to wait a few minutes and we'll be golden. It's all silent right now. Everybody's saying the same thing. It's silent. It's silent. There's nothing. There's no going on here. It's coming. It's coming in real soon, guys. Seriously, I'm not lying to you this time. Man, my stomach is saying, "Hey, why haven't you eaten it today?" I don't know. I tell you, good thing I'm not hypoglycemic or whatever the hell that's called. Might have to eat a candy bar or something here. I'm waiting for this here. Everybody's going nuts here. There we go.
All right, hello everyone. My apologies for the late start. We unfortunately had a massive distributed denial of service attack against our servers, and saturated all of our data lines. Like basically hundreds of gigabits of data were saturated. We think we've overcome most of that, and so it's now time to proceed. But as this massive attack illustrates, there's a lot of opposition to people just hearing what President Trump has to say, and but I'm honored to have this conversation. I want to emphasize it's a conversation, and it's really intended to just get a feel for what Donald Trump is just like in a conversation. So it's hard to catch a vibe about someone if you just don't hear them talk in a normal way. And when there's an adversarial interview, like no one's themselves in an adversarial interview. And this is really aimed at kind of open-minded, independent voters who just try to make up their mind. So you can understand like what is what is it just like to have a conversation? So honored to Donald, great to to speak. We had a great conversation yesterday. As you mentioned yesterday, if we could just record that conversation and post it, it would have been excellent. I hope we can have something like that today.
Well, I think we will. I'm pretty sure we will. And congratulations, because I see you broke every record in the book with so many millions of people. And it's an honor. We view that as an honor. And then you do want silencing of certain voices. Usually those are voices that have something to say that are constructive, oftentimes constructive. And so we have to consider it an honor. But congratulations on breaking every record in the book tonight. That's great.
Well, thank you. Maybe we could start off with, the assassination attempt, which was an incredible thing. And I have to say that your actions after that assassination attempt were inspiring. You, instead of shying away from things, instead of ducking down, you were pumping your fist in the air and saying, fight, fight, fight. And I think that's, the president of the United States represents America. And I think that is America. That is strength under fire. And so that's, a big, part of the reason why I was excited to endorse you as the president of the United States for having another term here is that was just incredibly inspiring. But what was it like for you?
Not pleasant.
Not pleasant.
I said there was blood. I had more blood. I didn't know I had that much blood. The doctors later told me that the ear is a place that is a very bloody place if you're going to get hit. But in this case, it was probably the best alternative you could even think about because it went at the right angle. And, it was a hard hit. It was very, I guess you would say surreal, but it wasn't surreal. I was telling somebody you have instances like this or like a lot less than this where you feel it's a surreal situation. And I never felt that way. I knew immediately that it was a bullet. I knew immediately that it was at the ear. Yeah. And because it hit very hard, but hit the ear. And I also heard people shout, bullets, bullets, get down, because I moved down pretty nicely, pretty quickly. And we had bullets flying right over my head after I went down. So I'm glad I went down. The bigger miracle was that I was looking in the exact direction of the shooter. And so it hit me at an angle that was far less destructive than any other angle. So that was the miracle. That was, for those people that don't believe in God, I think, we got to all start thinking about that. You have to, I'm a believer. Now I'm more of a believer, I think. And a lot of people have said that to me. A lot of great people have said that to me, actually. But it was amazing that I happened to be turned just at that perfect angle. And all because I put down a chart on immigration that showed that the numbers were so great. I love that chart even more
maybe
now.
It's a sign. Maybe that's a sign.
It's an immigration sign.
You highlighted a serious issue at that moment.
That's
the bullet missed your, hit your ear, but missed your head.
The amazing thing is that the sign, I said, bring down that sign on immigration, and it was literally about an eighth of a second where it would be good, and after that it was going to be a disaster, no matter which way you were facing. But it just had that perfect angle, which was exactly at this shooter. Very sad situation. Such a sad situation. As you know, we lost somebody that was great, Corey, a firefighter, a great gentleman, a great trumper. He was just a fantastic family and a fantastic man. And a friend of mine came up, Elon, and said, I'd like to give the family some kind of help. And I said, that's great. He said, do you mind? I said, I don't mind at all. And he wrote out a check for $1 million, gave it to the wife. And, she said, this is really nice, but I'd rather have my husband back, which is a nice thing for somebody to say, to be honest. She's great. The family is great. And we raised a lot of money for them and for two other gentlemen who are unbelievable people also. They were hit really badly. They thought they were not going to make it, and they did. The doctors in the Butler area, I tell you, they were incredible. They saved the two. and they were really hit tough, both of them equally. And we thought, my first question was, because I heard bullets flying over me, I said, how many people were killed? Because we had a massive crowd there, a tremendous, thousands and thousands of people, and there was no land. I mean, it was all people. So I said, how many people have been killed? Because I knew there were other shots being fired.
Sure.
And they said, we don't know yet, but some people have been badly hurt. And I have to give the Secret Service sniper, they call him, or sharpshooter, but sniper, because he didn't know there was a problem. He's an extraordinary shot, obviously, and he didn't know there was a problem. And he was able to pick it all out within 5 seconds. And he used one bullet from very far away, I guess probably about 400 yards. The shooter was 130, but he was on the opposite side of the field and the podium. And he saw the smoke and the flame from the gun, immediately recognized it, and immediately took a shot. And it was one perfect shot from very far away. And if he didn't do that, Elon, he would have. I mean, if he would have, a lot more people could have been badly hurt and killed. So I have to take my hat off to him, because that's also a surreal. You know, he's been with them for 23 years, and he's never had anything like this. And all of a sudden, he has to act, and it's a very tough thing to act and to be shooting somebody. But he saw the gun, saw the smoke, saw the flame from the gun, very far away. Obviously has very good eyes. He's got very good vision, which I assume you have to have in that particular work. But he took aim very quickly, and they say it was approximately 5 seconds from long range, one bullet. If that didn't happen, because the shooter had a lot of bullets, he had a lot of cartridges up there with him. So
I mean, that's clearly he was very confident in taking that shot to stop the attempted assassination. But I mean, there does seem to be some pretty significant failings elsewhere in the system. Like, there's just no way that, like, how on earth does a shooter get on a roof 130 yards away? That seems crazy. I think most people people are wondering how on earth could such a thing happen.
Well, you know, I view it as two ways. There should have been nobody on the roof. There were people, because there were so many tens of thousands of people, there were people that were seeing him. And there was one woman with a red shirt and Trump all over her. And she's screaming, well, that guy's got a gun. You know, you saw it probably. There's a guy up there with a gun.
I mean, it's like, I guess, from my point, I think probably many members of the public are wondering, how the heck are, basically people wondering by pointing out this guy on the roof with a gun. They're seeing it, but somehow it's not being addressed. That does seem crazy.
Well, they're going to learn from this. The communication between the local police, who sort of had an idea, and then ultimately a man lifted himself up to the roof, could barely do it because he was pulling himself up, and he saw the man with the gun. The man with the gun pointed the gun at him. He thought he was probably going to get shot, but he was like pulling himself up, and because of that, he couldn't get to his gun, and he fell down. Actually, very badly hurt his leg, his ankle. I hear very badly, but he fell down. And he did, from what I understand, he did say there's a guy up there with a gun, and the shooting started very quickly after that. I think it forced the shooter to go maybe quicker. You're supposed to be a very good shot.
Yeah.
My sons, Don and Eric, they can't believe what happened, but they said from 130 yards, shot would hit that target almost every time. They said it's like in golf, thinking a 2-foot putt.
Yeah, it's not a tough shot.
It's not a long shot. The Secret Service person had the long shot. He had a triple the distance actually. So it was a terrible thing. It's hard. I have to say this about the Secret Service. When I went down, and I went down based on, I think they're screaming. but other people also, because people saw this happen. You know, you had so many people. One of the miracles was that nobody ran. I mean, if a gun goes off, the crowd control people showed us this. When guns go off, and it does happen in stadiums, in a soccer match or some kind of a match, everybody flees. They call it a stampede, like cattle. But everybody, and a lot of people get killed with those stampedes. We had more people than you'd have at, you know, some of these matches or these games, and nobody left. You know, you had a small group behind us in the grandstand, and that was full. And you look at it as it was taking place, and normally they'd be running. They didn't. Like, they saw that I was hurt. They saw a lot of blood, and they saw that I went down. And it's almost like they wanted to be with me. Well, out front, you had thousands, tens of thousands of people. As far as the eye could see, you had people in Butler. As far as the eye could see, and a lot of press too. There were, you know, many cameras on watching this. It's what makes it so different, because normally things happen that aren't good, but you never have a picture of it. Here we have all these cameras shooting it, so you know, it's sort of amazing. But one of the interesting things was that you didn't have anybody flee. You didn't have anybody stampede. Nobody. And there were some people behind me. They stood up and they're looking like, you know, I mean, I'll tell you, you want to have them in a foxhole with you. I want to meet some of those people because it's so different from what you heard. But so I was down. But the Secret Service guys, there were bullets flying right over my head. You could hear them go whizzing, and these guys came jumping on top of me, and a young lady, Kate, would jump. They moved so fast, and let me tell you, that took tremendous courage. Now, there was a lack of coordination. There was, you know, obviously everybody understands that that building should have been covered. And
I mean, I think that's like, I mean, looking at the aerial views, that building would be like the number one spot for a sniper. I mean, it's like if you were to pick, like, what is the favorite? So if the goal is to assassinate, what's your favorite spot? That building.
You're right.
That building would be number one.
That would have been the spot.
It's like you're going to ask for a better location. It's like
that would have been the spot. You know what people think is when the local policeman, who, by the way, you know, he really he did what he was supposed to do. He couldn't hold on any longer. And then when he got his head just peeking above, this guy standing there with a gun at his head, and when he fell down, again, hurt his ankle very badly, but he was making the calls. But what happened is the firing took place very soon. So what they think is that this guy ran to his site, which he had all planned out with the gun. He ran to the site and he started shooting fast, and maybe that's why he sort of missed. I mean, you know, he got me, but it could have been a much bigger problem.
But he totally would have hit if you hadn't turned your head. So, like, you know, there was it was a very near thing.
It was a miracle. If I hadn't turned my head, I would not be talking to you right now. As much as I like you,
exactly,
I would not.
I would not be. You'd be talking to me from another realm.
Yeah, that's right. We'd be talking from a different place. But it was a very terrible experience. The Butler Hospital, they did such a great job. The doctors were so good. Everybody was so good. There was a mistake if somebody knew, because people were hearing. You know, there was just a bad feeling that somebody was around. You know that story now. It's been if somebody could have said, because they've oftentimes said, you know, like there'd be a lightning storm or something. Because I've done, I think, over 300. I think I did a lot more than that, but we did a lot. And oftentimes they'll say, "Sir, could you wait 10 minutes, please? Sir, could you wait 20 minutes? There's a storm overhead or lightning or something," right? And that happens often. And this would have been a perfect time for that to have happened. But it didn't get coordinated. That was the problem.
Well, it was I think your actions in the heat of fire, and, you know, like, what I found admirable there was that you can't fake bravery under such circumstances. The courage is instinctual, or it is not. It's not a rehearsed action. And so I just want to say that I think a lot of people admire your courage under fire there. And so
thank you very much. I appreciate it. I didn't think of it. I just wanted to get up, and I wanted to stand up. I wanted to let people know. You know, I felt I was good when they were on top of me, covering me, actually, very much covering me and very bravely. But I wanted to get up. I said, I want to get up. And they wanted, they have everything there. They wanted a stretcher. I didn't like the stretcher. And I knew I was hit in the ear, but I knew I wasn't hit anywhere else. They felt I was hit someplace else because it was such a lot of blood. And they were sure that I was hit someplace else. And they were saying, sir, you were hit more than the ear. I said, nope, I was hit in the ear. I want to get up. Let me get up. And so I got up, and the crowd didn't know what to think. I mean, this was so many people, and you could see they were confused. They didn't know what to think. And I wanted to let them know I was okay. It was very important for me to let them know that. And they went wild. You've seen after. They didn't go well when I got up because they didn't know, was I alive? You really couldn't tell. When I stood up before the fist in the air, they didn't know if I was alive. Nobody did. And when I put the fist up, they were just relieved and happy and thrilled, and the place went crazy. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It was a terrible thing, but it was
incredibly moving. Yeah. Well, and I mean, speaking of the sort of slide that got you to turn that saved your life, really, was the illegal immigration slide. Maybe it's worth talking about that.
It was
that slide. The slide says
you're right. Now the illegal immigration saved my life. You're right, but it had to be at an exact angle.
I mean, that's a great one. Saved by illegal immigration.
You know the incredible thing though, when you talk about the odds, you had to be exactly at that angle. But the incredible thing is that the chart, I used it less than 20% of the time. It was just a moment.
Yeah.
It's always on my left, never my right, and it's always at the end of the speech. So here we have it. It's on the right, not the left. It's at the beginning, not the end. And even the people that put it up, they were unprepared, and they did a great job. They got it up immediately, fortunately. But I looked to the right, and the bullet came whizzing by, hitting my ear. So it was amazing. But when you think of the odds of that, and you know that normally you wouldn't use it. Normally I wouldn't have the thing, and then it would have been a very different story. It's very much, I say, an act of God. It's a miracle that it happened, and I'm honored by it. I'm honored by it.
Well, what were you about to say about illegal immigration before you were rudely interrupted?
Well, I was going to say how good the numbers were. By the way, we're going back to Butler. And we're going to go back in October. We're all set up, and the people are fantastic in Butler. It's a great area. These are incredible people. Like the three that, in the case of Corey, killed, and the other two, the families I got to know them a little bit, and the families are great. But we're going back to Butler, and I think I'll probably start by saying, as I was saying, being so horribly interrupted.
Yeah.
But
so rudely interrupted by an attempt.
No, but the chart.
Some people have no matter.
Elon, the chart was just a chart that in my last week we had the best illegal immigration numbers, meaning stopping. It was at the lowest. You've seen the chart. It's become quite a famous chart. But that was the lowest point ever recorded. It was a really... I was very proud of those numbers. And then you see what happened with these people, Kamala and Joe. You see what happened. They just let it go. I had Remain in Mexico policies. I had all these different policies that was so good. Guys like Tom Holman and Brandon Judd from Border Patrol. These are all people that they've been on television. They said it's the best numbers we've ever had. We had so many different checks. Catch and release in Mexico, not the United. We had catch and release in the United States. We had it in Mexico. We had so many things. We had things where many people come in there, they have contagious diseases. We had everything passed. If you have a contagious disease, I'm sorry, but we cannot allow you into the country. So we were setting literally records, and all I was doing is showing that, and I use it sometimes.
Sure.
And in this case, I'm glad I used it. I can tell you that. But They were fantastic numbers, but I'm going to sleep with that chart always. I'll be sleeping with that chart. That chart was very important for a lot of reasons.
Well, I mean, would it be accurate to say that you're supportive of legal immigration, but we also need to shut down illegal immigration, and especially unvetted illegal immigration, because and that's not the same as saying that everyone who's an illegal immigrant is bad. In fact, I think most people who are illegal immigrants are actually good, but you can't tell the difference unless there's a solid vetting of who comes across the border. Does that actually represent your position?
I say it very simply. They have to come in legally. They have to be checked. Yeah. Because look, Kamala was the border czar. Now she's denying it. Everything that I do, she's saying she was strong on the border. We're going to be strong. Well, she doesn't have to say it. She could close it up right now. They could do things right now. It's horrible. No tax on tips, and all of a sudden she's making a speech and saying there will be no tax on tips. I said that months ago. And by the way, they had just the opposite. They had not only tax on tips, but they hired 88,000 IRS agents, and many of them were assigned to go get waitresses and caddies and all of this on tips. They have a policy. They had a policy that they were really going to go after you, and were really harassing people horribly. And then all of a sudden, for politics, she says, she comes out with what I said, which I think is terrible. And I think it's also hitting them very hard. These people are fake. Now they're also saying they did a good job in the border. We had the worst numbers in the history of the world, not of our country. There's never been a country in history that has had a catastrophe like this. We've had, I believe, and I think you believe this too, you hear 12 million, 13, I believe it's over 20 million people came into our country, many coming from jails, from prisons, from mental institutions, or a bigger version of that is insane asylums, and many are terrorists. And I'll tell you what, they're coming not just from South America, they're coming from Africa, they're coming from all over the world. They're coming from Asia, they're coming from the Middle East, they're coming from countries that are stupidly and horribly bombing Israel on October 7th. They're coming from all over the world. And you look at, it's so sad, October 7th, because it should have never happened. Yeah. It's so sad when you look at Ukraine. It should have never happened. We have a defective government. These are defective people, and they're not people that should be running it. But where you see it the best is the border, because you have millions of people coming in a month, and then she gets up and she tries to pretend like she's going to do something. She had 3.5 years. And by the way, they have another 5 months that they can do something, but they won't do anything. It's all talk. She's incompetent and he's incompetent. And frankly, I think that she's more incompetent than he is. And that's saying something, because he's not too good.
Yeah. No, I think it is to order.
Secure elections.
Absolutely, secure elections. And so it's just essential to have a real border, or we can't function as a country. And our our central services are being overwhelmed in a lot of cities. But as we were talking about earlier, I think having a legal immigration process that is smooth and efficient and done well, and I'm speaking as someone who is a legal immigrant, and I think that like one way to think of it is, who do you want on your team? Who do you want to Team America? And I think we want to just say, okay, we want to let people who are be great contributors to our society and to our economy, and and who do you want on the team? And it's not to say that, like in my opinion, actually, I'd say like probably most of the illegal immigrants actually are actually good, hardworking people. That's my opinion. But some are not, and you just have this sort of adverse selection process where if somebody's if somebody's like has a career in theft or robbery, I don't understand what's taken them so long to get here, because we're in such a target-rich environment. I mean, why don't more people with a better career and bad things coming here sooner because it's a piece of cake to go rob a house in LA or New York compared to other parts of the world. And in a lot of places in America, if you try to stop the person who's robbing you, you'll be arrested.
It's right. I mean, what's happening with crime? And our police are so good, but they're not allowed to do their job. But I have to tell you, Elon, I hate to say it because it's such a downer to say it. I hate to say it. I hate it. But you have a lot of people that just shouldn't be. I think it's a much bigger number than you think. They're allowing people from their jails. And if you were running one of these countries where they're coming from, you would have had all of them. As an example, Venezuela, their crime is down 72%. They're taking their drug dealers. They're taking, frankly, their prisoners. They're emptying out their prisons. They're taking their criminals, their murderers, their rapists, and they're delivering them into.
That's what Castro did.
Yeah, well, they did on a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
Much smaller scale. But this is a massive scale because this is being done worldwide. But here's what's happening: crime all over the world is down. And wait till you see the numbers that we have. This is migrant crime. This is crime that's going to. And I saw it today in New York where somebody was knifed, where they raped the girlfriend of a man that stood there watching in New York in one of the shelters and started pulling out the knives. And bad things happen today. But this is happening every day. These are rough people. These are people that are in jail for murder and all sorts of things. And they're releasing them into a country and they're telling them, if you come back, we're going to kill you. We're going to give you the death penalty or kill you. So they don't want to come back. But these are rough people.
Yeah.
These are criminals that make our criminals look like nice people. And it's horrible what they do. And she's in charge of it because, now she's trying to say she had nothing to do with it. And she's such a liar because he was called the border czar the first day. And it was on the headlines of every newspaper. She's the border czar. And she never even went there. She went to one location which had nothing to do with where the problem is. She went in and out, I guess, because she was getting a lot of pressure. Had nothing to do with the problem. But she was the border czar, and people can't allow them to get away with their disinformation campaign. Now she's trying to say that she wasn't really involved. The whole thing is horrible. She was totally in charge. She could have put it down without him. He didn't know what he was doing anyways. He wouldn't even know what happened. If he just put it down, he wouldn't even know the difference. But the fact is that she was border czar. But if you don't have to call her that, the fact is you could just call her. She was in charge of the border, and the border was the worst ever.
It's simply not working.
No, it's horrible.
Whether it's a question of intention or competence, either way, we don't have a secure border, and we have people screaming over like it looks like a World War Z zombie apocalypse at times. And you're going to sort of wonder, like, is it real or not? So you see things, is it real? I went to the border at Eagle Pass, and I saw for myself in Texas, and I was like, okay, it's real. I'm like seeing this in real time. I actually posted the video like just live. I just flew there one day and just to see, hey, is this made up or real? And I'm just seeing people straight across the border, and I have to say, these people I saw did not look friendly. These are people who look at my video and say, hey, you look friendly. I don't look friendly.
These are people that Elon would not be the same man to walk across the street. These are rough people. These are really rough people coming across. And I know rough people. And these are people that we don't want in our country. And, the caravans are coming in and they're putting, and who's doing this are the heads of the countries. And you would be doing it, and so would I. And everyone would say, oh, what a terrible thing to say. The fact is, it's brilliant for them because they're taking all of their bad people, really bad people. And I hate to say this, the reason the numbers are much bigger than you would think is they're also taking the non-productive people. Now, these aren't people that will kill you. We have enough of them. But these are people that are not productive. They are just not productive. I mean, for whatever reason. They're not workers, or they don't want to work, or whatever. And these countries are getting rid of non-productive people in the caravans in many cases. And they're also getting rid of their murderers and their drug dealers and the people that are really brutal people. And they're coming into our country at levels that have never been seen before. And I saw an ad just before I got on the air. I'm walking over here, and I saw an ad by Kamala saying how she is going to provide border security. Where she been for 3.5 years? For 3.5 years.
Yeah, no,
There's 20 million people.
Yeah, I think this, frankly, I think this is a fundamental existential issue for the United States. And if we have another 4 more years of open borders, and it's going to be even worse with another 4 more years, it's going to be even worse than it's been for the past 3.5 years. I'm not sure we're going to come.
You don't have a country left. Elon, if they get in, you will have 50 to 60 million people from all over the world. Not South America only. You know, we think of South America, we think of Honduras and El Salvador, Guatemala, and Mexico, you know, 4. But it's not that. It's everywhere. They're coming in from everywhere. And I had to stay in Mexico.
Yeah, I think this is a super important point. Like, people, it's like, basically, when I went down there, I was like, well, where are you from? It's like almost no one was from Mexico.
No, Mexico
it's just the border. It's just the border with Mexico, but the people coming in, it's Earth, the rest of Earth. and America is only, about 4 or 5% of the population of Earth. It would only take a few percent of the rest of Earth to overwhelm everything.
We're all overwhelmed. We're overwhelmed. You had news tonight about New York, and I love that place. And what they're doing to it is horrible. What they're doing to it, and all the courts do is they try and focus on Trump. Okay, then let's focus on Trump, who did nothing wrong. I complain about a rigged election. Elon, what happened is unbelievable. You have from Africa, from the Congo, they're coming from the Congo, and 22 people came in from the Congo recently, and they're murderers. And they drop them, they take them out of jails, which is very expensive, to maintain. They don't do too much maintaining, I can tell you. But they take them out of jails, prisons, they take them out, and they bring them to the United States. They deposit them in the United States and say, don't ever come back, you're going to be executed. And they don't want to come back. But they won't come back.
Sure.
But they're coming from Africa, they're coming from Asia, they're coming from the Middle East, they're coming from South America, they're coming from everywhere. And there are a lot of really bad ones.
It's just an everywhere Earth thing, and it's just not possible for the United States to absorb everyone from Earth or even a few percent of the rest of Earth. It's just not possible. So
Elon, we're going to have just to finish this up. We're going to have the largest deportation in history of this country, and we have no choice. Otherwise, we're going to have a country. What they've done to our country. Think of it. With in Venezuela and in some of these other countries, crime is down 50, 60, 70, 80%. And you would be Venezuela has not gotten rid of all of them. They've gotten rid of about 70% of their really bad people. Their jails are about 50% put into the United States. The same with other countries. Some are at 30%, some are at 50%. They're all different. But the bottom line is they're all going to be at 100%. Why wouldn't you put 100%?
Yeah.
And they're doing it right now while this third-rate phony candidate. Don't forget, I beat Biden. He failed in the debate miserably, and some people said, "Oh, gee, it's too bad. It's too bad he did so badly." Or I did well in the debate. The first night they said, "Wow." One of the people at CNN said that was the greatest debate performance I've ever witnessed. And then 2 days later, they didn't talk about that. They just said he was bad. But that's okay. That's the way I get treated, and I don't mind that at all. What I can tell you is this: if we cannot have a Democrat, we cannot have her. She's incompetent. She's as bad as Biden in a different.
Yeah.
He hasn't done an interview since he started. And say what you want. This was a coup. This was a coup of a president of the United States. He didn't want to leave, and they said we can do it the nice way, or we can do it the hard way.
Yeah, I'm just talking about back behind the shed and basically shot him.
What they did with this guy, and I'm no fan of his, and he was a horrible president, the worst president in history. And one of the reasons he was so bad, first of all, that would have never happened. Russia would never have attacked Ukraine, and we'd have no inflation. And we wouldn't have had the Afghanistan mess, if you think of it. And we wouldn't have had Afghanistan, but we just think of it. You take a few of those events away, and we have a different world. We you would also have inflation was caused by oil.
Yeah, you're making an excellent point there, which is that when other countries can, are thinking about invading or doing bad things, when they're thinking about that, they're thinking about, okay, what's the American president going to do? And do they fear the American president? Or is it someone they do not respect and do not fear? And I think they would rightfully be, I mean, like the footage of the assassination, they're like, okay, President Trump is like, don't mess with me. I mean, that's like, whereas I think people are not going to be, they obviously have not been at all intimidated by Biden, and they certainly will not be intimidated by Kamala. And you have to really think of that in the context of global security. If the American president is someone that, like, evil dictators are scared of, that makes a huge difference to the security of the world.
So I had a good relationship with Putin, despite the Russia hoax that lasted for over 2 years. Just a hoax created by Hillary Clinton and Adam Schiff, some just bad people, just sick people, frankly. I mean, Schiff is a sick person. He's going to end up probably being a senator. It's hard to believe. The whole thing is hard to believe. But, they put our country in danger with that stuff, too. They actually, when they make up stories, and you have to fight your way out of it for a long time. But I know Putin very well. I got along with him very well. He respected me and just things. And we would talk a lot about Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye. But I said, don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. I shut down Nord Stream 2. That was the big oil pipeline, the biggest pipeline in the world going all over Europe. I shut it down. Biden came, and then they said, I loved Russia. I was a friend of Putin, and I loved Russia. No. He actually said to me one time, he said, if you're my friend, I'd hate to see you as an enemy. I shut down his pipeline. The biggest pipeline, they were looking at that fund, and this pathetic president gets in there, and the first thing he did, one of the early things he did is he shut down Keystone XL pipeline, which is our pipeline, that would have employed 48,000 people, pipeline workers, shut it down. That was, a massive job that Obama refused to allow. Yeah. I allowed it in my first week because it was jobs that moved well. And by the way, in a much more environmentally friendly way, it's underground. It's not a truck that catches on fire or a train that catches on fire. But think of it. He shut down the XL pipeline, the Keystone XL pipeline. Yeah. He shuts that down, and he approves the Russian pipeline.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's like inconsistent. Certainly, but I mean, I think it's just worth to listen to the immense importance of whether the United States president is intimidating or not intimidating, and how much that matters to global security. Because there's some real tough characters out there, and if they don't think the American president is tough, they will do what they want to do.
I know every one of them.
And it puts the whole world in danger.
Elon, I know every one of them, and I know well. I know Putin, I know President Xi, I know Kim Jong-un of North Korea. I know every one of them. And let me tell you, people say, "Oh, this is terrible." He said, "I'm not saying anything good or bad. They're at the top of their game. They're tough. They're smart. They're vicious." And they're going to protect their country, whether they love their country. They probably do. It's just a different form of love, but they're going to protect their country. But these are tough people at the top of their game. And when they see it come, or when they see Biden, Sleepy Joe, they can't even believe it. They can't believe this happened. All the stuff that you're seeing now, all the horror that you're, look at Israel. They're all waiting for an attack from Iran. Iran would not be attacking, believe me. When I was there, and I say it with respect, because I think we would have been good with Iran. I don't want to do anything bad to Iran, but they knew not to mess around. Iran was broke because I told China, if you buy from Iran oil, it's all about the oil. That's where the money is. But if you buy oil from Iran, you're not going to do any business with the United States. And I meant it. And they said, they didn't buy oil. Other countries like oil. If you want to buy, you're not doing business with the United States. And they were at a point where they had no money for Hamas. They had no money for Hezbollah. They had no money for any of these institutions, etc. And it was amazing. In fact, there were articles where I was so bad right now. It's such a different place. We were respected. Think of it. 4 years ago, no respected. To a point where I said, don't buy oil, they didn't buy oil. They had no money. And Israel would have never been attacked. Zero chance. And again, I said to Vladimir Putin, I said, don't do it. You can't do it, Vladimir. You do it, it's going to be a big mistake. You cannot do it. And I told him, that's what I do. And he said, no way. And I said, way. And you know, it's the last time we ever had the conversation. He would never have done. I got along well with him. I hope to get along well with him again. You know, getting along well with them is a good thing, not a bad thing. I got along well with John Bush. When I met with President Obama just before entering, you know, it's sort of a ritual. And I sat down with him. We talked. It was supposed to be for a very short period of time. It turned out to be a long period of time. I said, what's the biggest problem? He said, North Korea. I had that problem worked out very quickly. It was nasty at the beginning with Rocket Man and, you know, all the different things.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden I got a call.
Those were some epic tweets, by the way.
Yeah, they were epic. Everything. He said that he has a red button on his desk. I said, I have a red button on my desk too, but mine doesn't work. And then I called Rocket Man, a little Rocket Man. Anyway, here's the bottom line. All of a sudden I got a call from them. And they said they want to meet. They want to meet me. And we met, as you remember, we met in Singapore. We met also in Vietnam. And I got along with them great. We were in no danger. But President Obama thought we were going to end up in a war, a nuclear war with him. And let me tell you, he's got a lot of nuclear stuff.
Exactly.
He's got plenty of nuclear. He can do plenty of damage. So
yes, it's because, you know, I mean, people like Kim Jong-un, they respond to strength, not weakness.
Well,
he
and I had a good relation.
You know,
remember I met him and we walked onto his land. Nobody ever walked onto his land before. I wouldn't say, let's bring up Secret Service again. I wouldn't say they were thrilled when I did that. I walked onto his land, and it was an amazing period. But we were not in danger with him because of me. You know, I always say that we have enemies on the outside and we have enemies on the inside. We have some really bad people in our government and people that are controlling of the people. I mean, I mention names, but I really don't want to give the credit. But we have some really bad, and I say they're more dangerous than Russia and China. If you have a smart president, a president that gets it, we are not in danger from those countries because they need us and they need our help. I mean, we forced Obama, if you think about it, Obama and Biden, and Bush to a certain extent, in all fairness, forced Russia and China together. And if you're a history student, the first thing you learn is you cannot let Russia and China align. But then they also got, if you take a look, Iran, and they have North Korea. That's, you know, they call it the axis of evil. In the old days, you had the axis of evil. Here we have a modern day axis of evil. These are powerful countries, very heavy nuclear, which is the biggest threat. Yeah. You know, the biggest threat is not global warming, where the ocean's going to rise 1/8 of an inch over the next 400 years. And you'll have more oceanfront property, right? The biggest threat is not that. The biggest threat is nuclear war, because we have 5 countries now that have significant nuclear power, and we have to not allow anything to happen with stupid people like Biden. You know, Biden did something with Russia. There was no chance of him ever going in. And when I left, and then after I left, they started forming big armies on the border with Ukraine, right? And I looked at that, and I thought he was doing that because Putin's a good negotiator. I thought he was doing that to negotiate. But then Biden started saying such stupid things. For instance, he said that it can be a NATO country. Now, Russia, for as long as there's been NATO, has said we're never going to agree to that. And we go right up front and say that. And we did things and said things through this president with a low IQ, very low IQ. He had a low IQ 30 years ago, by the way, but now he might not even have the IQ at all. There's nothing on the board that goes this low. He said things that were so stupid that war had zero chance of happening if I were there. Zero chance. He was saying everything the opposite. Everything the opposite. And it's so sad because many more people have been killed in Ukraine than you read about. You don't read about how bloody it is and how sad.
Sure.
Hey, look, just in the two armies, you lost 500,000 people. And, Ukraine's having a hard time. Ukraine, I don't know if you saw the article recently, and you don't hear the true story. But if you think about it, Russia's gone, Russia defeated Germany with us, and they defeated Napoleon. They've been around a long time. They're a big fighting force. Yeah. And it's very unfair. And Ukraine now doesn't have enough men. They're now using young men and very old men to fight. And we're in a very bad position. And I'm not going to blame exclusively, but I can tell you I could have stopped that. And a smart president could have stopped that. It wouldn't have happened. But we had a man that actually made it more prevalent. It was so bad. The words that he was using, the stupid threats coming from a stupid face that he was using. I said, this guy's going to cause us war. He's going to cause us. And let me tell you, it can lead to World War III. That can lead to World War III. The Middle East can lead to. We have numerous places that could end up in World War III right now for no reason whatsoever.
I think you're right. I think people underrate the risk of World War III. And it's when looking at the risk of global thermonuclear warfare, it's game over for humanity. And, it's something that people have, I think, after the end of the Cold War, people have become complacent about, but they actually have forgotten that there are currently a lot of nuclear missiles that have targeting parameters for the United States from other countries.
And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to build an Iron Dome over us. Israel has it. We're going to have the best Iron Dome in the world. We need it, and we're going to make it all in the United States. But we're going to have protection because it just takes one maniac to start something. We're going to have protection, and we're going to have. Why shouldn't we have an Iron Dome? Israel has one. Some other places have one that nobody even knows about, frankly. But Israel has it. We're going to have an Iron Dome. But with all of that being said, to me that's so important, the most important. But with all of that being said, the election's coming up, and the people want to hear about the economy and the fact that they can't buy groceries because they don't have enough money to buy groceries. The inflation has killed them. Food prices are up 50, 60, even 100% in some cases. And this stupid administration allowed this to happen. And it's a shame. And that's the thing that people most care about, in my opinion. They care about the border a lot. And we discuss the border at great length. It's nice to have a forum like this where I can discuss something at length. And by the way, you think Biden could do this interview? Do you think that Kamala could do this interview? They would take a pass on you.
They cannot.
They don't need Elon. They don't need Elon screaming out questions. It's pretty sad when you think that somebody that does this for a living can't answer a question or is afraid to do an interview. And in her case, with a very friendly interview, she's got all friendly interviewers. It's pretty.
Yes, absolutely.
But the big thing now is the economy, Elon. And as much as I view nuclear as the single most important thing, but a lot of people don't understand that. But it doesn't have to. If I understand it, that's all you need. Because if I was president, you're not going to have that kind of a problem. But the thing that they really is making them angry is what Kamala and Biden have allowed to happen to the economy. It's a disaster with inflation. The inflation, it doesn't matter what you make. The inflation is eating you alive. If you're a worker or if you're just a middle income person, you can't afford. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, people were saving a lot of money. Today, they're using all their money and borrowing money just to live. It's a horrible thing that's happening. And we'll end that.
Yeah. A lot of people just don't understand where inflation comes from. Inflation comes from government overspending because the checks never bounce when it's written by the government. So if the government spends far more than it brings in, that increases the money supply. And if the money supply increases faster than the rate of goods and services, that's inflation. So really, we need to have we need to reduce our government spending, and we need to re-examine. I think we need like a government efficiency commission to say like, hey, where are we spending money that's right? And we need to look within our means. We're currently adding, I think, $1 trillion to the deficit roughly every 100 days. And the interest payments on the national debt. I mean, now exceed the defense budget. It's like on the order of $1 trillion.
It's interest.
And it keeps growing.
I rebuilt our military, largely rebuilt our military, which was so important. You know, we had fighters that were and 70 years old. We did a great job in that. And we, by the way, gave 85 billion of it back. You can believe it. We gave them 85 billion. You know, they're one of the largest sellers of military. They're selling what we gave them. That was one of the most embarrassing days in the history of our country. But if you think about, let's go to the economy, we have to bring energy prices down. Energy starts the price of gasoline. Now, you don't require too much gasoline. You know, you have a good, and you do make a great product, I have to say. I have to be honest with you. That doesn't mean everybody should have an electric car, but these are minor details. But your product is incredible. But the gasoline, Elon, is the cost of energy. Not only gasoline, it's the cost of heating your house and cooling your house. That has to come down. It's gone up 100%, 150, and 200%, and that has to come down. When that comes down, and we're going to drill, baby, drill. You know, they stopped drilling, and then they went back to drilling because they went back to the Trump policy. But if they won, the day after they get into office, this country will go out of business because they're going to go to an energy policy that's not sustainable. Wind and different things. You're not going to have anything. And I know you're a big fan of the AI, and I have to say that AI, this is shocking to me, but AI requires twice the energy that the country already produces for everything. So we're going to have to build a lot of energy if our country will be competitive with China, because that's our primary competitor for this on the AI. You're going to need a lot of electricity. You're going to need tremendous electricity, like almost double what we produce now for the whole country, if you can believe it.
Sure. Well, just going back to this, like this basic thing, which that people try to make it sound complicated, but it's not. Inflation is caused by government overspending. Would you agree that we need to take a look at government spending and have perhaps like a government efficiency committee that just tries to make the spending so the country lives within its means, just like a person.
The waste is incredible, and nobody negotiates prices. You used to have a lot of people making jets, and you end up with two companies, and they'll probably try and merge at some point. I mean, I went through it. Just a thing like, if one of the first documents they asked me to sign in general said, "Sir, would you please sign this document?" And what is it? Air Force One. That's with Boeing, which is basically two planes, 747s. And the price was $5.7 billion for two planes. Now they're highly sophisticated. They're even nicer than your plane, okay? But much more sophisticated. I won't say what's on it, but they got stuff on it. Anyway, but it's 5.7.
That's a crazy
number. But I said, I'm not going to pay 5.7. I'm not going to do it. I said, who made the deal? Obama and his people. I said, well, then I know the deal's no good. I'm not going to do it. And over the course of about 4 weeks, by my saying I'm not going to do it, I got the price reduced by $1.6 billion for the exact same plane, other than we had a nicer paint job, if you want to know the truth. But for the exact same plane, I saved one. And I said to Boeing, man, you guys must make a lot of money if you could reduce the price by that. But now what I do hear is that they're going back to the Biden administration and wanting big cost overruns, you know, because they see these dopey suckers in there, and they'll end up getting some of the money back. But I shaved it by $1.6 billion for the exact same plane. And you can now take that and multiply that out times thousands of other items. The numbers are astronomical. I agree with you.
Well, I mean, I think it would be great to just have a government efficiency commission that takes a look at these things and just money, the tax hard-earned money is spent in a good way. And I'd be happy to help.
I'd love it. Well, you're the greatest cutter. I mean, I look at what you do. You walk in, you just say, "You want to quit?" They go on strike. People mention that when they go on strike, and you say, "That's okay. You're all gone. You're all gone. Every one of you is gone, and you are the greatest. You would be very good. Oh, you would love it." But But you know, if you look at Argentina,
Well, I'd be happy to
yeah.
help
By the way,
out.
congratulations! I just looked at the number of people that are listening to you and I chat. We'll call it a chat. But congratulations! This is very. I mean, it's great. And you're an interesting character. You know, the new head of a place called Argentina, and he's a big. You know, he's great, and he's a big MAGA fan. You know that he ran on MAGA, and he took it to an extreme too. He ran on MAGA, and he's doing really a terrific job. It's called Make Argentina Great Again. It worked out perfectly. He came in, he bought a lot of hats, he bought of it, but he's doing a big job. He really got, and I'm hearing they're starting to do pretty well. Inflation's getting down. You know, they had like 2,000%. They had inflation like not normal inflation. They had the real deal. But we're going to have that pretty soon. We have, I think we have the worst inflation we've had in 100 years. They say. You know.
Yeah, well, it's just from the government overspending and not spending taxpayer money effectively, and having just like so many departments you can't even name them all. And what Milei is doing is he's cutting government spending. He's simplifying things. He's putting in regulations that make sense. And Argentina overnight is experiencing a giant improvement in prosperity. But it's also a lesson for the United States, which is that Argentina used to be one of the most prosperous countries in the world. In the 30s, 40s, and because of bad government policy, it ruined the country. And if you take Venezuela, for example, Venezuela should be incredibly prosperous. They have phenomenal reserves of everything, oil, everything, and it should be prosperous. But if the government's wrong, it impoverishes the people. And so I think we should not be complacent in the United States, thinking that taking out prosperity for granted, because with bad government policy, we can run the country to the ground. And that's just something people should bear in mind. Don't take prosperity for granted.
Well, think of education. So we're ranked at the bottom of every list of the top 40. We're ranked number 40, number 38. Norway, Switzerland, Sweden, different countries are ranked good. Actually, China's pretty close to the top. They're a top 6 or 7. But we're ranked at the bottom, almost at the bottom, 38, 30, 40. It's horrible. And yet we spend more per pupil than any other country in the world. So we spend more. And what I'm going to do, one of the first acts, and this is where I need an Elon Musk. I need somebody that has a lot of strength and courage and smarts. We want to close up Department of Education, move education back to the states, where states like Iowa, where states like Idaho, not every state will do great. Because states that basically aren't doing good now, you look at Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, he's terrible. He does a terrible job. So he's not going to do great with education. But of the 50, I would bet that 35 would do great. And 15 of them, or 20 of them, will be as good as Norway. Norway's considered great. You can name them. I mean, they're so good. Some of these countries are so good. But if you go into some of these really well-run states, we have states that don't know what debt is. We have states that have low taxes, no debt, everybody working. They're really well-run. Sure. And maybe they have certain advantages in terms of location, in terms of the land or the sun and the water and the whole thing. There are a lot of advantages to some people. But if you move education back to the 50, you'll have some that won't do well. But they'll actually be forced to do better because it'll be a pretty bad situation. But if you think about it, you'll have some of these states. I'll bet you'd have 30, 35 states. It'll be much better. And you know what? It'll cost less than half what it is in Washington. And these people don't care about students in these, faraway states. And it'd be unbelievable.
Yeah. I think you're making a good point in that if the states have to if each state has to compete against other states, then people will naturally move to states where it's better.
Well, like California, as we said, It's a badly run state. I could go through. I got so many friends that are in those states, even if they're Democrats. I hate to mention certain states, but Illinois is badly run with Pritzker. He's a real loser. But some of these places are just badly run. But it's almost going to force them to run better, and they won't do good initially. But you're not going to do worse than you're doing right now. And I would say that the cost, you would cut your cost by 50 or 60%. And you'd have a little monitor. You want to make sure they're teaching English as an example. Give us a little English, right?
Sure. Right. No, I mean, some of these governors are doing so badly. I mean, they got so many people moving out of their state. They should get U-Haul Salesman of the Year award because they're driving so much fuel.
It's actually amazing.
People moving out.
Isn't it amazing to you as a businessman that they can even survive? Like Illinois. So many people are leaving, and you wonder, how do they survive? I mean, how do they survive? I saw where you left California, and you moved to Texas. Texas does a great job. But, I mean, I just wonder, how do these states survive when big businesses, a big oil company just left California, as you know, and they moved to Texas. How do these states survive when they lose so many businesses? And their taxes are already really high. Their taxes are among the highest taxes. You almost wonder, how do they continue on? And in many cases, the governors don't do a good job, and they're crime-ridden places. You wonder, how do they continue to just go on? It's not a good situation.
I think the only thing that's going to force some of these states to change is if there is bankruptcy and they're not getting bailed out by the federal government.
Right. Well,
that's the only thing that's going to get them changed.
You remember the area in California where they had that, where I guess somebody had sticky fingers and they stole a lot of money. And they went into a form of chapter. And it was very nasty for a period of time. But now it's probably the most popular place in all of California. So at some point, something like that have to happen. But the problem is you can't penalize people that loan money to the state when you have incompetent people like a Pritzker. Look, the family didn't want him in the family business, and he ends up being governor of Illinois. So why is he going to be? Is he going to be a great governor? And you have people. I could name every one of them. I got to know every one of these, and some are very good, and some are just horrible.
I think that the larger point here, as you're saying, a lot of people are concerned about the economy. A lot of people are concerned about inflation. Inflation is effectively a tax on people that save money, and for people that are working day to day. It's just a form of taxation. And if we can solve the government spending problem, we'll solve the inflation problem, which means people will have a better standard of living, and that's a really big deal.
Well, the people that got hurt worst are the people that did it the way they were taught to do it all through, their younger life and their young life and their whole life. The people that saved money, and then they got no interest on their money, and inflation destroyed them. And frankly, they were almost better off if they didn't do anything like that. I mean, those people have been absolutely decimated. And we're going to bring those people back and help those people. We've got to get this down. When I look at bacon costing 4 or 5 times more than it did a few years ago. When you look at some of the food products in grocery stores, people go, they can't believe it. They used to be able to buy a whole cart, and today, a lot of people just don't have the money. They go in and they can't buy anything. They look at it's sticker shock. They call it sticker shock, right?
I think it really just comes, like I said, it just comes down to really two things, which is that if you solve government overspending, you solve inflation, which improves the living standards of the average person, and then if you deregulate, like have sensible regulations. So because a lot of the regulations are nonsensical and cause the cost to be extreme for no reason, but unless you've got effective deregulation, like Reagan did a great job on deregulation in the 80s, but it's been 40 years since we had anyone really. During your administration, we made some progress. But I think there's opportunity to make, radical progress with sensible regulation. And if
Elon,
those two things, those are the big deals.
We set a record. We did more deregulation and more restrictions on all of the different businesses than any other president. remember I had the rule for everyone we put in, you have to get rid of at 10 or 12. And we did radical cuts on all of that. And a lot of that's being put back by this administration. And we did radical cuts on things that weren't necessary. But we were all set. You know, we had the best economy ever maybe in the world. And then what happened is COVID came in and we had to focus on that. And nobody knew what it was. And I always say I got good marks on economy, good marks on military. We knocked out ISIS. We did so many different things. We rebuilt. But, you know, I never got the credit that we really deserved on what we did with COVID. We never got the credit. But had that not happened, the gift from China, from Wuhan, came in from Wuhan, the Wuhan labs, and I always said it, and it turned out to be right. But had that not happened, we were set to start reducing debt. We were going to reduce taxes further. I gave the largest tax cut, and we were going to reduce taxes still further for middle-income people, not only businesses. But we did it for businesses because they're the ones that's why we had the great job numbers. But we were set to really start reducing debt. And, you know, we're sitting on the biggest pile of liquid gold anywhere in the world, bigger than Saudi Arabia, bigger than Russia. And we were going to drill it, make so much money. We were going to supply Europe with oil. I had stopped the Russian pipeline, and we were going to supply them with oil and gas. We were going to make a fortune. And then the COVID came in, and we really had to divert. Then what happened is when they came in, you know, we kept a lot of businesses alive. If I didn't do what we did, we would have had a 1929 type depression. But the problem is when Biden came in, he got trillions of dollars and just started spending it stupidly. You didn't need it anymore. You know, we got over that bad period where everybody was dying, and you know, it was just not a good period. Interestingly, you know, during his administration, many more people died during his administration of COVID than during my administration, and we really got the brunt of it. But people don't realize more people died during his administration than ours. But it diverted us from doing what I wanted to do. But we had the greatest for almost 3 years. We had the great, and you know that probably better than anybody. So many of your friends said to me, the best years we've ever had in business were during the Trump years, and also said that African American, Hispanic American they were having Asian women, men, young people without a diploma, young people that graduated from the best colleges, from MIT, from the Wharton School, from great colleges. They were doing better, and people without a diploma were doing better, and everybody was happy. And then COVID came, and we had the problem is they spent trillions and trillions of dollars. They wasted. They shouldn't have taken any money, and we wouldn't be having inflation right now, which is killing our country.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I should probably say something about maybe my views on climate change and oil and gas. Probably differ from what most people would assume. Because my views are actually pretty, I think, moderate in this regard, which is that I don't think we should vilify the oil and gas industry and the people that have worked very hard in those industries to provide the necessary energy to support the economy. And if we were to stop using oil and gas right now, we would all be starving, and the economy would collapse. So he's right to sort of vilify the oil and gas industry, and the world has a certain demand for oil and gas, and it's probably better if the United States provides that than some other countries. And it would help with prosperity in the U.S. And at the same time, obviously, my view is like we do over time want to move to a sustainable economy because you run out of. I mean, you run out of oil and gas. It's not infinite. And there is some risk. I think the risk is not as high as a lot of people say it is with respect to global warming. But I think if you just keep increasing the parts per million in the atmosphere long enough, it actually simply gets uncomfortable to breathe. I realize this. If you updose 1,000 million of CO2, you start getting headaches in the ocean. And so we're now in the sort of 400 range. We're adding, I think, about roughly 2 parts per million per year. So I mean, it still gives us. So it means like we still have quite a bit of time. But so it's not like we don't need to rush, and we don't need to stop farmers from farming, or prevent people from having steaks, or basic stuff like that. Like you leave the farmers alone.
I agree. How crazy is that? Where I mean, you have farmers that are not allowed to farm anymore, have to get rid of the it's largely taken it from us. I just say though, I've heard in terms of the fossil fuel, because even to create your electric car and create the electricity needed for the electric car, fossil fuel is what really creates that at the generating plants. And, so you sort of can't get away from it at this moment. I mean, someday you might be able to, but I do hear we have anywhere from 100 to 500 years left. Much of it hasn't even been found yet. Yeah. But there are tremendous, like ANWR. I got ANWR in Alaska approved. Ronald Reagan couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. Everybody tried. Nobody could do it. I got it approved. The first thing that Biden did was unimprove it, to get rid of it. He ended it. His secretary went in and she ended it. And what a disgrace. That's ANWR. That's bigger, or they think it could be bigger than Saudi Arabia in Alaska. Could be bigger than Saudi Arabia. But they went in and they terminated it. And I'll get it going very quickly, because not only is it big for Alaska, I mean, you talk about economic development, that for the United States, I mean, that's bigger than Saudi Arabia or the same size. And pure, really good stuff. And, they had to. So I think we have, perhaps hundreds of years left. Nobody really knows. But during that time, something will come around. Very good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my estimate would be, a little more aggressive than that. But it's not these sort of like we're all going to die in 5 years stuff. That's obviously BS. But I mean, my view is that if you just look at sort of the parts per million that increments every year, you get sort of 2 or 3 parts per million every year of CO2. I mean, I think some of that it's problematic if it accelerates, if you start going from 2 or 3 to say 5, and then there may be some situation you get change increase in CO2, and I think we don't want to get too close to 1,000 ppm, because that's actually makes it uncomfortable to breathe. Like just existing in 1,000 ppm CO2 is uncomfortable. That's like that's considered like an industrial hazard,
right?
Just so it's, that's actually start getting headaches and stuff. So it's, even without global warming, it's not comfortable to live. So we don't want to get too close to that. But I mean, I think we want to just move over, like, and if I don't know, 50 to 100 years from now, we're I don't know, mostly sustainable, I think that'll probably be okay. So it's not like the house on fire immediately, but I think it is something we need to move towards. And on balance, it's probably better to move there faster than slower. But like I said, without vilifying the oil and gas industry, and without causing hardship in the short term, I think this can be done. Without but people can still have a stake. They can still drive gas in cars. And it's okay. It's like it's not. I don't think we should vilify people for it, but I think we should just generally lean in the direction of sustainability. And I actually think solar is going to be the majority of energy generation in the future, and it's trending that way. And so you get the solar power with batteries, so the sun doesn't shine at night, and they use that to charge your cars, and you have a long-term sustainable solution. And that's what Tesla's trying to move things towards, and I think we've made a lot of progress in that regard. But when you look at our cars, we don't believe that environmentalism, that caring about the environment should mean that you have to suffer. So we make sure that our cars are beautiful, that they drive well, that they're fast, they're sexy. I mean, they're cool. In fact, literally, the sexy joke, Model S, Model 3, Model X, and Y spells out sexy. It's probably the most expensive joke out there. But I don't know. I like cheesy humor, So, but I'm a big fan of like, let's have an inspiring future, and let's work towards a better future, and we do so without demonizing.
Right. I'm okay. It's very interesting. You use the word global warming, and today they use the word climate change because you have some places that go up, so they were getting themselves in a little trouble with the word global warming because not every place is warming. Some places are going the opposite direction. But I'm sort of waiting for you to come up with solar panels on the roofs of your cars and on the trunks of the cars, and it just seems like something that at some point you will come up with. I'm sure you'll be the first. But it would seem that a solar panel on the roof, on flat surfaces, on certain surfaces might be good.
Yeah.
At least in certain areas of the country where you have the world, where you have the sun. I would think, and I have no idea because it's not my world. I would think that this would be something that would be interesting. But the one thing that I don't understand is that people talk about global warming or they talk about climate change, but they never talk about nuclear warming. And for me, that's an immediate problem because you have, as I said, 5 countries where you have major nuclear, and probably some others are getting there, and that's very dangerous. That's where you need a strong American president, because you don't want to have this proliferation. But you have 5 countries and getting more. China is much less than us right now, but they're going to catch us sooner than people think. They're way lower. Russia is number one, and we're sort of tied. And China's far behind, but they're developing at a level that you're not surprised to hear first that they'll end up catching up. But to me, the biggest problem is not climate change. It's not, and everything's a problem, but to me, the big problem is the power of nuclear is so great. And when I talk about World War III, I will, but this is no longer architect going back and forth and shooting at each other. This is a level of destruction and power that nobody's ever seen before.
Yeah, nuclear, which is the nuclear warfare aspect, but there's also, I think, you feel like and it's actually, people have this fear of nuclear electricity generation, but it's actually one of the safest forms of electricity generation. It's just a huge misunderstanding. And if you look at the injuries and deaths caused by, say, just any kind of mining operation, and that number nuclear is actually way better. So it's underrated as a resource. It's so much regulation. So that
there are some areas like it has a branding problem. When you do what happens, in Japan, where they say you won't be able to go to that 3,000 years, and you have to do that. And in Russia, where they had the problem where they, they're not getting, and they have a problem. In 2,000 years, people start talking about it again. You realize, but there's
actually not that much. Were asking me in California, are we worried about like nuclear cloud coming from Japan? I'm like, no, that's crazy. It's actually very dangerous in Fukushima. I actually flew there and ate low on vegetables on TV to prove it. And I donated a solar water treatment system for water treatment plant.
But you have to just really so well, like I'm worried about it. No, I'm already.
Yeah, for sure. It's really not. I mean, some other topics to touch on. Welfare, I think,
what they've done to this country. We just one of the big cases in Florida. The Biden administration is something that's never been done. Let's go after the political economy with this nonsense and just nonsense. And but they always pick a judge, and you his local, like Fonnie, and Fonnie, and it's all a big focus. There's no run from there like in Manhattan. One of the top people from the Justice Department went in Manhattan, ran the state. Virginia James deal was run by a person from the Department of Justice. They've never done this before, and it set up a very bad precedent. It's called lawfare warfare. It's a terrible thing. And never happened in our country. It does happen in banana republics and third world. But it's never happened. And the incredible thing is to actually throw my numbers up because people see, originally I have a platform like you want a conversation like this, where I can talk about it and people understand. Fight for election integrity and you end up getting indicted because you're fighting for election integrity. The day comes that you can't fight for election integrity, you don't have a country anymore. So what happens is they connect to their political opponent. Now, Biden's, lost the vegetable stage, in my opinion. Okay, I looked at him today as a meeting, and I said, why would anybody allow him to think that because he looks so bad, and it's ridiculous. And he's been doing that for a long time. He can't lift the chair. The chair weighs about 3 ounces for children and old people. And the whole thing is it's coming. I mean, it's really like we just don't have a president. You don't have a president. And he's going to be worse than Trump because he is a San Francisco liberal. And then as Attorney General, he destroyed California. About location and the water and all. There's nothing better than California. He has destroyed it. He was the original DA. He was the original. He was the original Attorney General. What he has done in California is, well, you know better than I do. You just left California for a lot of those reasons. And what he's done with crime, with cashless bail, where you kill somebody. I mean, we have states where you kill somebody and they let you out right away. I mean, you don't have to even find them people unless they kill again and then they let them out again. Our country is becoming a very dangerous place. And he is a radical left, San Francisco liberal, and now she's trying to protect. Now she's looking like he wants to be more Trump than Trump. If that's possible. I don't think it's possible. But he wants to be more Trump than Trump. Yeah. I think that's, he wants to release all the presidents that are in some of these countries. Right. That just came out today. He doesn't want to build the wall, even though the walls work. Walls and, everything you do is obsolete. Well, not the house, but everything is obsolete. Even your rocket ships. Like a month later, they're obsolete. You find a better way to. The only thing that's not obsolete is the wall and the wheel. And the wall, I built hundreds of miles of wall. And that's why we had such good numbers. Because it had 200 miles. We bought it. We could have flipped it, stuffed it 3 weeks, and they sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. That meant, I said, wow, that means that they actually don't have open borders. He wants to have open borders, and now she's going to be like stuff over the border. It's such a lie. Yes, I mean, everybody knows the disgrace that she said. Overnight is they're rewriting history and making Kamala sound like moderate. In fact, she is like Bernie Sanders. She's considered eligible by law. Bernie Sanders. He's a radical left lunatic, and he's going to be a president very quickly. Not going to have a country anymore. And she'll go back to all of the things that she believes in. She believes in defunding the police. She believes in no fracking. Now all of a sudden he's saying, no, I will. I really want to see fracking. If they got it, if people think that, the lunatics that really believe in that, they will vote for it. Like the Palestinians and Israel. He is Israel. He said something that was impossible. Both sides hate him. Both sides. That was a hard thing to do.
I mean, the internet game. I talked to Saturday House, sitting out there, and Kamala stood him up. What does that say?
I think it's highly disrespectful. And I say, if you're a Jewish person or if you believe in Israel, if you're a person that is pro-Israel, you vote for her. It's worse than my percent. But if you vote for her, you ought to have your opinion. And as we know this, I'm speaking for guys that they expect to attack tonight or tomorrow from hundreds and maybe thousands of rockets. They're iron dome, as we all call it. They're keys that they built. That could be we use the term.
Yeah.
But they stopped it by shooting enough pistols. You know this better than anybody. By shooting enough pistols, they can defend themselves. They just obliterate the whole country. And that's what some people think they're looking to do. We have no leadership. There's no respect for the United States of America with these people. And I'm telling you, it's going to be worse than him. Because he's a believer and he wasn't.
I mean, to say to look at Donald record, before the last month, and say, is that a record that you agree with? I think if you're an independent moderate, you definitely would not agree with it, because it is a behavior of far left. We're saying just behind propaganda and rewrite it to make it sound like Elon's moderate, but that is not moderate.
Well, her running mate approved, signed into legislation. Okay? Now, that's all I have. And that means she believes in that too. Because he was the father. A lot of people thought she'd pick sort of the opposite, but picked an anti-Israel radical left person. But she is far worse. If we have her as a president, we have a Democrat at this moment as a president, I don't think our country can survive.
I think it's a massive trouble, frankly, with the current administration. That's my honest opinion. And I think really it's essential that we win for the good of the country this election. And that's understated my opinion. But I from the EU saying to not have this information on the during this there's a lot of has to censorship even Americans countries and what do you think about that?
Well, I know the European Union very well. They take great advantage of the United States, We, through a different form, NATO, we protect them. And yet, if you build a car in the United States, you can't sell it in Europe. You just can't sell it. It's impossible. The same thing with the farmers. The farmers define purchase. We have a deficit with them of $250 billion. People don't know. It sounds so nice, the European Union. They're not as tough as China. I let them know it. And that's probably what they notified you. If they don't treat our country well, we defend them. Ukraine, we're in for $250 billion, and they're in for about $71 billion, and they have the same size. If you hit up the European nations, that they're much greater risk. They're right there. There are oceans separating us from, in this case, the enemy would be Russia. Sure, the Soviet Union, but they're close enough. What happens is they're in for something maybe I think it goes to that billion, and we're in for about 250 billion, and it could be a lot higher than that. And I said, where are you going to equalize? Why aren't they paying what we're paying? And they're in much more, they're much more important for them because of the fact that they're right there, they're also on that location. We're not, but they should, and I did it with NATO. There were only 7 countries that were paid on NATO, 48 at the time, and the United States was subsidizing NATO, tremendously subsidizing NATO. But I went in and I said, you got to pay up. If you don't pay up, we're not going to defend you anymore. We're going to go out and eat. But you know what happened? Billions of dollars. Disproportionate share of the expenses. And then we get taken advantage of on trade. So think about it. Well, I mean, the point of NATO is to in Europe, and it's like why is that paying disproportionately more to defend Europe than Europe? That doesn't make sense. That's unfair. And that is an appropriate thing to approach. Well, when you talk about cost cutting and savings and everything else, I mean, honestly, look, nobody feels worse about the Ukraine situation than I do because I know what is going to happen. I know Zelensky, it was very honorable to me because when they went with the Russia hoax and they had a phone call with me, it was a perfect phone call. He could have reacted and said, oh, he was very threatening. He said, no, it's a very nice. Getting at these people the difference from the people and the enemy on the outside is the people are more dangerous for our country than the Russians and the Chinese. If you have this, you're not going to have a problem. Take it with the right person. Yeah, you're running out of free speech because during your first time as president, you were attacked relentlessly every day, often very unfairly with false facts, and you didn't try to shut down media, you didn't try to inhibit their freedom of speech, and I think that's a lot. Well, the thing is that you and I have, and some people, very few, we can get the word out. Although sometimes it's hard because they don't want to, we're having a great conversation right now. Kamala wouldn't have this conversation. She can't because she's not fun. You can't have this conversation. And I talk about have this conversation. You would give it up on the first day of the morning. You would have walked out and said, where am I? Where am I going? But he wouldn't have this. Not a lot of people would have this conversation. We cover a lot of territory. But the beauty is that we can have a conversation. I'm able to get it out because I can figure it out. So you can actually have a conversation. We need a man or person unbelievably strong in order to stop all the nuclear danger and all the dangers that I'm talking about. And I got along with them. And I got along with Kim Jong Un. We had dinner, we had everything. I got along with him really well. By the way, he's the absolute boss over there. A lot of people said, oh, I still think that you don't want to know about it. He is the boss. He's got a good relationship. And he doesn't I think considers him the stupid man. He's a stupid man. Well, I think he speaks his mind. This country, you're not sort of allowed to say it, but I guess you are. You should be allowed to say it. We need smart people, and we need people that have an ability to lead. And she doesn't have that ability. Can you imagine that? Karen She very well. Can you imagine her and him getting more even standing together? She is terrible. She's terrible. I saw a picture of her on magazine today. She looks like the most beautiful actress. She was drawing. And actually, she looks very much like our great first lady, Melania. She didn't look like Camilla. Of course, she's a beautiful woman, so we'll leave it at that. Right?
Well, I think people in America want to, people in America want to feel excited and inspired about the future. We want to feel like drugs people in the past. America's going to do things that are greater than we've done in the past. We should give heights and make you proud to be American and get excited about the future.
They want the American dream back. They want the American dream back more important than anything else. It's like you don't have that today because the people they've been just stuck. They see incompetent people running our. The Biden thing is very interesting. People just started to be incompetent, and when I debated him, I was like, "Is this for real?" It was.
Yeah, it's just concern. But I think there are some grand projects that we can do. I think we can build a base on the moon. We can send American astronauts to Mars. We could fulfill high-speed connections that are more advanced than anything else in the world. Universities, so people have astronauts. We solve traffic tunnels. We're made great progress in Vegas doing that, and just do things that are exciting, inspiring, that the future feel like it's better than the past.
I saw what you did in Vegas, and I'll tell you, it was amazing. I got to see. I took a big glimpse at it, and and you could do that all over. You could do that all over. It's neat.
Yeah.
You don't even need much structure. Still get in the right area.
No, it's straightforward.
It's amazing.
And look, I think there's some things like China's got incredible high-speed rail between its cities. I think it's actually possible with tunnels and with deregulation, with an ability to actually, where it's legal to actually do this. I think you can have high-speed tunnels that are actually better than anything else in the world. High-speed transport between cities. That would be something. Wow. Okay. That's cool. Anyone else can help us. That's the kind of thing that makes you proud.
Much safer than surface trains, where there's a danger there, with crazy people. It's much safer, much better. And it's sad because I've seen some of the greatest trains. I find it fascinating. And I've seen the systems and how they work. The bullet trains, they call it like that. And they go unbelievably fast, unbelievably comfortable, with no problems. And we don't have anything like that in this country, not even close. And it doesn't make sense that we don't.
I think also there's, I'll kind of help you on the excess regulation. I think something that people can generally understand is that most regulations is that there's more and more of them every year, and unless there's a process, actually everything becomes legal, and that actually slows down the development of new technologies. I think I think there's room for some reform at the FDA for improving the speed with which we approve drugs that can help save lives and improve people's lives. And
I worked very hard on that. We got that down to the lowest number ever, and we got therapeutics approved in the FDA that people can't even believe the speed. But I put them on. I don't think they like me so much, but I got things approved in the FDA at numbers that they wouldn't believe. And it's a very bureaucratic group. Actually, it's a fine group of people in many cases. I got to know a lot of them. I was really hard for Regeneron, for so many different things that were really pretty amazing. But the FDA took too long. It was 12 years to get a product approved. I got it in 4, and I got some things done very quickly. It's really something that worked on me. It takes too long. It just takes too long.
Yeah, it just takes too long, and it's the same with the approval, but it's just it takes years for something that could potentially take months and improves people's lives. I think, and I just want to hop on this point. Like there has to be an active process for reducing regulations, reducing noise, and just keep going up every year. Working of the arteries, and usually every single takes forever, and then we we just as a society, we can't make any progress, and it's a really good thing.
Elon, getting back to the FDA for 1 second, I got something that called Right to Try. This is where you can go in and if you're terminally ill, you can use a space age, medicine or whatever. We have the best doctors, the best labs in the world, we really do. And people would go to other countries because you couldn't use this product, even if they thought it worked, because it's going through the FDA. I got it approved where you can, you basically, look, nobody wanted it. The doctors didn't want it because it was a liability. The country didn't want it. Our country, because they didn't want to use it. These are people who are really ill. The insurance companies didn't want it, and nobody wanted it. I got everybody to do it. And we came up with an agreement that we all get to. And also, they didn't want it on their record. If somebody's terminally ill and they die after taking it, they didn't want that on their record. So we sent a separate list. If somebody was just going to count as a negative. Okay? And as you know, we got it done. We have stayed right to try. They've been trying to get this done for 58 years. And it sounds simple, but it wasn't because it was different. I mean, the insurance companies, nobody wanted it. But we got it done. Somebody signs. You sign a document that you're not going to sue the insurance companies, the country, you're not going to sue anybody. And we got it done, and we're saving tens of thousands of lives right to try. Hopefully you never need it. If you do, you don't have to travel to Asia. People, if they had money, they go to Asia, they go to Europe. If they don't have money, they go home and die. That's what happens. They go home and die.
And actually, to do something else here, it's like if a drug is approved in the there's a crazy amount of regulations. It should obviously be approved in the U.S. I mean, they have more regulations than we do. So we're directly approved in Europe and not in the U.S. That's crazy.
Well, we did it. We did something that really, they've been trying to do it for 50 years, and they just couldn't get it done, and I got it done. And it's something. But you're right. Some people go to Europe because the drug isn't approved here, but it's approved in Europe, and it's a drug that, generally speaking, will work. It's pretty crazy.
Absolutely right. I think so as long as people are properly informed of the pros and cons, like there's the risk, and like you can make your own decision. That makes sense.
Well, I think just, and sort of closing up, and by the way, I'm looking at the numbers. You've got a lot of people listening. I hope you don't get nervous because you got a lot of people listening to you right now, like 60 million or something. What is that number? It's crazy. It's amazing how you can see that right away. Wow.
Well, I think in terms of people
that's bigger than you said. You said 25, and you're much more than double that number. 25 million. I think it's going to be 60 or 70. And I guess over a period of time. I congratulate you. Do I get paid for this or not?
Well, I think actually the number of people that will hear this conversation over the next few days, 2 weeks, it's going to be hundreds.
That's what they say. Yeah, that's good. Well, it's an honor. I just asked this: are you better off now, or were you better off when I was president? Nobody's better off now. We put out polls on that, and nobody's better off now. Inflation has killed it. And, they also feel very unsafe. You look at what's going on with a lot of different things. You look at the riots we had in the colleges it's ridiculous, but all of the riots, they just feel unsafe. And now they really feel unsafe because you have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. Maybe I'll call it Kamala migrant crime. But
with all these things, I always try to get to the ground truth by just asking people. And my mom lives in New York, and I was like, Mom, have any of your friends, been attacked or assaulted? And she said, yeah, 3 of her friends in 3 separate incidents were assaulted just in recent months, just walking around the streets of New York. And I said, well, what happened to the people that assaulted them? Oh, nothing. They got away. They're just
they always get away.
Nothing's going. And they don't even bother reporting it because they know that they're not going to. People are not going to get prosecuted. They just let violent criminals out in New York.
The only one that gets prosecuted is Donald Trump. They prosecute Trump.
Yeah, it's just obviously messed up.
Oh, it's terrible.
If violent criminals are getting off scot free, And meanwhile, New York spending massive resources prosecuting you. And it's like, what's this? And I think the sort of sensible public looks at this and said, well, what the heck's going on here? This is obviously abuse of the legal system. The legal system is supposed to be protecting the public from violent criminals, and it should be obviously allowing the public to make their own decision about who should be president, as opposed to some legal case.
Once they start this precedent, because this can go on with the next one. I mean, this is a very bad precedent what they're doing in terms of going after their political opponent, and that's all it is. It's going after their political opponent, and then you get a judge who's a strong Democrat, and I'm being nice when I say that. In many cases, crooked as hell. But you get a judge, and you go into an area where a Republican gets 3 or 4% of the vote, and you'll have a jury pool with people that hate Republicans or hate. It could also be the other way, because it could start the other way in areas where they hate Democrats. Exactly. And you get into a Pandora's box. It's a very dangerous thing for this country, and a very dangerous thing even for the state. New York City is losing. New York City and state lose a lot of business over what they did to me, because these people say, we don't want that to happen to us. It's no justice system. You have an unfair system of justice, and it's costing New York State a tremendous amount of money. People are leaving and companies are leaving, and they won't come back. So, all of that stuff is important. But the economy now is the big thing, and we can turn that economy up so fast, and people are going to be back again. We're going to get rid of inflation.
I think there's a lot of opportunity.
Right, absolutely.
So,
and I want to congratulate you. You've done an amazing job. You have definitely got a fertile mind. We can talk. You and I can talk about rockets.
What's it's kind of you to say? Thank you.
Tunnels. We can talk about tunnels and rockets and electric cars. So many things. And now you're into the AI, and that's going to be another beauty. So it's an amazing thing you've done, Elon. It's an amazing thing, and I congratulate you.
Thank you. Well, I just say here's to an exciting, inspiring future that people can look forward to and be optimistic and excited about what happens next. And that's the kind of future that I think you will bring as president, and that's why I endorse you.
Well, I appreciate that. That endorsement meant a lot to me. Not all endorsements mean that much, to be honest. Your endorsement meant a lot. And, we have a phrase, make America great again. It's pretty simple, but it really says we want to make America great again. And we can do it. We can do it now, but if we were going to suffer another 4 years like we suffered for the last 4 years, I'm not sure the country can ever come back. That's how bad it is. It's so bad. We have to do a lot.
I think that's the very real risk.
It's a big risk.
It's a very real risk. And it's, I'd just like to note to people listening, I've not been very political before. And if you look at my record, I've actually been. I'm not like so they're trying to paint me as like a far right guy, which is absurd because I'm like making electric vehicles and solar and about helping with the environment. And I actually I supported Obama. I stood in line for 6 hours to shake Obama's hand when he was running for president. And so it's not like I'm like some sort of dyed-in-the-wool long-term Republican. I call myself. Historically a moderate Democrat, but now I feel like we're really at a critical juncture for the country, and I think a lot of people thought the Biden administration would be a moderate administration, but it's not, and obviously we were just going to see an even further left administration with Kamala. That's my honest opinion. That is literally. She was born up as an actual. If your dad is a Marxist economist, you can Google it. It's not we're not making this up. That's how she was brought up. So, and we want to have a future that's prosperous, and I think we're just at this critical juncture, and I think this is a case of America is going to at a fork in the road, and. And I think it will take the path, like you are the path to prosperity, and I think Kamala is the opposite. And that's not. I'm gonna get attacked like crazy. And, I've also experienced quite a bit of warfare myself. But I'm just trying to tell people my honest opinion. And I've been really active in politics before. And I'm just trying to point out that my track record historically has been moderate, if not moderate, slightly left. And so this is to people out there who are in the moderate camp to say, I think you should support Donald Trump for president. And I think it's actually a very important junction in the road, and we're in deep trouble if it goes the other way.
Well, I want to thank you. And, I actually always did think of you as somewhat left. I must say that. So it's
Yeah.
even more of an honor to have your endorsement. I know how strong you feel about it. But, when you think of her, San Francisco, 15 years ago, I had a great friend, Bob Tish. He said it's the greatest city in America. And now it's almost not livable there. And California likewise. And he was involved in the destruction of San Francisco and the destruction of California. And he will be involved in the destruction of our country if people are so unwise as to elect her. And I hope that doesn't happen. And I hope the elections are going to be run honestly. And we're going to turn this country around. We're going to do things and we can do it fairly quickly. And we have to get rid of the criminals that have been, given to us by other countries as they laugh. They laugh at us. They think we're stupid to accept these people. These are radical, stone-cold killers in many cases, and terrorists. And they're in our country by the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
And we have to take them out.
Yeah, I mean, if I could summarize it, Bob, I think these are issues that I think most people in America would agree with, which is that we want safe and clean cities, we want secure borders, we want sensible government spending, we want to restore both the perception and reality of respect in the judicial system, stop the lawfare, and I think that's like, and how are those even right-wing positions? I think that's just common sense, and that's I mean, would you agree with that?
100%. I don't understand, the whole, they call it progressive. They don't like the word liberal anymore, but call it liberal or progressive. I don't understand how somebody could say that it's okay for them to empty prisons into our country. And again, I told you, their crime rates all over the world are going way down, which makes sense. In fact, the next time what we'll do is if something happens with this election, which would be a horror show, we'll meet the next time in Venezuela because it'll be a far safer place to meet than our country, okay? So we'll go, you and I will go and we'll have a meeting and dinner in Venezuela because that's what's happening. Their crime rate's coming down and our crime rate's going through the roof, and it's so simple. And you haven't seen anything yet because these people have come into our country and they're just getting acclimated. And they don't know about being politically correct law enforcement or lack of law enforcement. And our police, I have to just end with this, we have great police, we have great law enforcement, but they're not allowed to do their job. They have to be able to do their job without being destroyed.
Well, absolutely, and it's honestly demoralizing for a police officer risking your life to arrest violent criminals who could kill you and do kill you sometimes. And then you arrest the violent criminal, and then the DA, doesn't prosecute and just let the guy out. Well, I'm like, why should a police officer risk their life to arrest a violent felon?
Well, even worse, Elon,
nothing's going to happen.
Even worse, they prosecute the police officer. They go after it and they prosecute the police officer, and they take away his pension, they take away his job, he loses his family, he loses his house.
Well, I thought it was very telling, like incredibly telling, that there was a case where a gang of thugs beat up police officers. I think it was in Times Square in New York, and then nothing happened to those guys. They were let out, zero bail, and I think much were given 3 tickets to California. Well, what is it? I mean, that is a gross indignity against the United States, and that's how. I mean, this is insane. Like, have we lost all pride? How can such a thing be allowed to occur?
I've never seen anything. We see where they get shot. It's a very dangerous profession, but something they're very proud of, and they want to be able to do their job. But I've seen them get shot. I've seen all of it. But I've never seen where these guys are standing in the middle of a big street, everybody watching them, and they're literally boxing, like punching, stand-up fighting, a police officer. There were 2 of them. And then about 6 of these guys, and they're punching the hell out of them. And in their own country, they would be dead if they did that. They'd be shot.
Yeah.
They would be shot instantly. And, they come from these countries, and it's taking them a while to realize that we don't do that in this country. But in their own country, if they stood on a street and had a fight with a police officer, they would be shot. There's no political correctness. And it's such a sad, it's such a sad thing to see. And that's the reason we have crime, by the way, because we don't do anything about it.
We just cannot have a situation where our police officers are beaten up on camera by a gang of illegal immigrants, and then nothing happens to the guys that beat up the cops. I mean, and they're let out. This is unacceptable.
Well, we're going to change it, and we're going to get them out of the country. When I first got involved, they said you couldn't get them back to these countries. You couldn't take them back. In the case of Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, some others, you couldn't get it back. And I said, really? Oh, you can't get it back. Because under Obama, he couldn't get it back. They'd fly him in, and they put planes on the runways in these countries so he couldn't land the plane. They'd bring him back. And the generals told me, sir, we can't bring them back. The countries won't accept MS-13 gang members. They won't accept them. And I said, really, how much do we pay these various countries in terms of economic aid, which is also somewhat ridiculous? And the answer was $750 million. I said, good. Tell them they're in default. They're delinquent. We're not paying them anymore because they won't accept it. And you know what happened? They all called me. Every one of them. They said, we would be honored to take them back. We would be honored. It was so easy. But it's one of those things. And we got it back. We took in so many, MS-13 is probably the worst gang in the world. They're the most vicious, violent. We took them out of here by the thousands and got them out of here. And their countries took them back. And because I said, you're not getting any more economic aid. And once I said that, they were like, they wouldn't take them back for Obama. They wouldn't take them back for anybody. And now we have a problem because we have this guy, and they don't take them back anymore with Biden because they don't respect him.
It's just gotta be done. We just can't have whether they're citizens or not citizens. We can't have they weren't supposed to be citizens either, not just citizens. So you can't have violent repeat violent offenders that are not that don't get incarcerated.
That's right.
Because they will obviously, by definition, continue to hurt people. And I think where part of this comes from is that there's I do sort of consider myself liberal in some ways. I mean, it's just that you want to have empathy for people. Obviously, you want to have empathy for people. I totally agree with that. You want to have empathy, but you also have to have empathy for the victims of the criminals. And if you just have empathy for the criminals, it's actually shallow empathy. It's not real. You're not thinking. You're one layer deep empathy. You got to say, like, what if you don't incarcerate this person? Who are they going to hurt? They might kill someone. They might rape someone. If you don't incarcerate them, you have to have empathy for the victims. And there's a lack of empathy for the victims of the criminals, and too much empathy for the criminals. It doesn't make sense. That's why you want to have deep empathy for society as a whole, not shallow empathy for criminals.
And we have to give our police officers the dignity and the respect that they deserve. And we have to let them do their job. They can do a great job, but we have to let them do their job. And if we don't do that, it's going to all disappear. There's never been a society like this where you're allowed to do anything you want and nothing happens. And I'm talking about violent crime. And it's going to get more violent because these are really, really violent people. And we're going to get them out of our country, and we're going to get them back to because they were sent here by the presidents and by the various people that run those countries. And I know every one of those guys. And they're smart people, and they're streetwise people. And they really think that the USA is stupid. They think we're run by stupid people, and they happen to be right. But when I was there, we had no problem. We got them out. We took out thousands of MS-13 gang members. We brought them back. And now, again, it's the same old story. We don't do it. And they actually gave them a big increase in aid. They raised it up to billions of dollars, and they get nothing for it. So, I hope everybody's going to vote for Trump, and we're going to get this country. Yeah. And I didn't need this. I didn't need this. I had a very nice life. I didn't need to go through court systems and go through all the other stuff and run at the same time. I have to run. I have to go through fake trials with, in some cases, corrupt judges, totally corrupt judges. I didn't need it. I had a nice life. I have great locations. I have beautiful oceans that I have places. But I felt it was important. And if I had to do it over again, you probably think I'm crazy for doing it, actually. But if I had to do it over again, I would have done it over again, because this is so much more important than me or my life. We're going to save this country. This country is going down, and these people are bad people that we're running against, and they're liars. They make statements. They do things that are so bad. They say they're going to make a strong border. They say they did great on the border, and they've been the worst in history. They say they're going to stop crime.
The facts speak for themselves.
It's so incredible.
But it's not a point where people say that while they're reporting crime,
That's right.
they don't know nothing's going to happen. That's what I hear from people all the time. So it's just my values. I'm just saying to people out there, like the things I think are important for the future. It's like we've got to have safe cities, we've got to have secure borders, we've got to have sensible spending, and we've got to have deregulation, and so we can have a prosperous future. And then we want to have some exciting, sort of moonshot projects that people can get fired up about. And that's the future I'm looking for. And I'm pro-environment, but I'm not against. I'm not like I don't think we should vilify the oil and gas industry, because they're keeping civilization going right now. And but I do think we want to move, at a reasonable speed towards a sustainable energy economy. Those are my values, and I think, and so I mean that's why I'm supporting you for president.
Well, I appreciate it. We're going to give incentives to companies to come into our country, not to leave our country. We're going to be giving tremendous incentives. We want companies to build here, not to build in other locations. And we want to create jobs. And again, it's about the American dream. You don't hear about the American dream anymore, Elon. You don't hear the American dream in the truest sense. But you don't hear about the American dream anymore, and you're going to hear about it. People, they need that incentive to go out and do it. And they're going to love their lives. They're going to look forward to getting up in the morning and going to a job that they love, not a job that they can't stand, or not any job at all where they have no money, or they literally have no money, and then they end up with violence and lots of other problems. We're going to do some great things. But I learned a lot in the first. We had a great economy and all of that. We rebuilt the military. We did so much. But I also learned the best people. I learned the good people, the smart people, the dumb people, the people that can do things. You learn. When I first came in, I tell people I was in Washington, D.C. only 17 times, according to the fake news media. I was in 17 times. I never stayed over. And you don't know people. You rely on other people to give you names, and then you realize the people you relied on weren't so good. Now, we had great people, but we also had some where I wouldn't have used them had I known. Now I know everybody. And I think we're going to really turn things around. We have no choice, otherwise we're not going to have a country. And I really appreciate this. It's been a lot of fun being with you. You're an amazing guy. You've done an incredible job, and a great inspiration to people. A great inspiration. And I hope you keep going and just continue to do well. And we're going to have a big election coming up. And I think November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. I think that election will be the most important election. And I think it'll end up being maybe the most important day in the history of our country. Because if we don't win, I just feel so sorry for everybody.
No, I think we're at a fulcrum of destiny of civilization, and I think we need to take the right path, and I think you're the right path. So I think that's what it comes down to.
Thank you very much, Elon. It's a great honor, and we'll do it again sometime. And it's been really fun, and I hope you got a lot of viewers. I hear you got a lot. I hope you got I know you got a lot of them. So I appreciate it. I'll see you soon.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Elon. Thank you very much. Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to be honest with you. It took a long time, but it was definitely worth it. And Hang on here. All right. So we are going to go back to this right here. We're going to do the goodnight song. We want to thank all you guys so much for being here. I couldn't believe we're almost 3 hours here. This is like one of the old United Spot lives that my brother used to do here. I tell you, it's like they didn't want to end the conversation. That was great. That was great. All right. So what do we do from here? We're going to do the goodnight song. I want to thank you all so much for being here, first and foremost. In the words of Yukon Man, please find your light. In the words of my brother, hang around with awesome people. You have an amazing day. And, we're almost to the finish line here to where things are going to be a lot better for a lot of people. And so, if you're having a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, a bad year, don't give up. All right. Don't give up. We're almost there. I'm not saying things are going to be perfect. Nothing's perfect for anybody. This is life. And you're only dealt one hand in life. And so you got to make the most of it. And, a lot of it starts with you, and some people need to hear this. Some people don't. So for the people that don't need to hear it, hey, it's all good. For the people that do, you do matter. You're not a loser. And you're here for a reason, and your family needs you, your kids, your mom, your dad, if you still have them, your grandpa and your grandma, if you still got them, your dogs, your cats, your friends and family, neighbors, all of them. But in order for them to be safe and, good, you got to be good with you, Yeah, you don't need money to make yourself feel better. You don't need anything but yourself to tell yourself that you are not a loser. You're not going to give up. You're going to chase your dreams. You're going to fulfill all your goals, and you're going to become a champion human being, not just for America, but for yourself first and your family second. So your family is extremely important, but you got to come first too, or you're not worth anything. So hopefully that makes sense. And we just want to thank you all so much for being here. You guys are absolutely incredible. You guys are rock stars. Couldn't believe you lasted this long. But I tell you what, it was a great, great interview. It was just great being a part of that with all you guys here. So hopefully you guys didn't fall asleep. I know a lot of people fell asleep. There was we were working, but all right. So on that note, I want to thank everybody for being here. You guys are great. Let's see here. Yukon Man, if you're listening, I know you're probably lurking or busy or whatever. Have a great night. See Gene, have a great night. Hosea, have a great night. Julie, Caucasian, Debris, Captain Spaulding, Ellen, Big Slinkin, Tammy, have a great night. Gene, have a great night. Big Slinkin, have a great night. Grim Ben, have a great night. John Cast, have a great night. Let's see who else we got here. I think that's about it. All right, so hey, but this is a big virtual hug to all you guys. Thank you for hey Wolf of Walnut, how you doing? Great. Hey, have a great night. Hey, we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. We couldn't do this without you guys. And do us a huge favor and support us by going to our YouTube channel, checking out a few videos. Leave us a comment to let us know you were there. Maybe like one if you like the video. Share one if you like the video. Definitely watch one, obviously, and share it out to your friends and family, next door neighbors, co-workers, through email, through text message, through Facebook, YouTube, or whatever you want to do. Share it till it's like, holy cow, the United Spot. We got a great community. And we love you guys. Seriously. Thank you all so much. And do us a huge favor and get a great night's sleep. Dream good. Wake up in a great mood. Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself a few compliments. Have a great day. Be kind. And we'll do all of this again here in about 24 hours. I want to thank you all so much for being here tonight. You guys are absolutely incredible. Brian Smith, have a great night. Dreadnought, have a great night. We love you guys. Seriously. Seriously. All right. So on that note, good night. God bless. Salud.
nothing. See? Hey, Gambler, you ain't the only one that can blow. Well, I was tallying up the votes the other night, and something just didn't seem right. So I called up my lawyers, and we wrote a song about it. And the song goes like this. Nobody cares, Trump. Joe Biden, you're an asshole, and you worked at it your whole life. Asshole rhymes with Biden, 'cause you're an asshole tonight. Bartender, can I get a drink? It's your A-S-S-H-O-L-E, and don't you try to blame it on me. You deserve all the credit. You're an asshole tonight. You were an asshole yesterday. That's right. You're an asshole tonight. And I got a feeling you'll be an asshole the rest of your life. Hey, thanks, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't over. We're going to hell and back to win this fight. Hell, I deserve 8 more years for this. But I'm not giving up on you, America. So don't you give up on me. Joe Biden,